Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Of the Devil. If you've seen my channel before in any sort of capacity, you'll know I kind of like Ace Attorney. So with that game series basically dead in the water for about 2 years when Capcom decided to dig up its corpse to do another remaster of the Professor Layton game or something, this game is meant to be inspired by it, so I thought, why not give it a try? I've heard very good things, namely by the developer of In Stars in Time, Insert Disc 5. And given that game is like one of my favorite games of all time, uh, I I give there's heavy weight on that recommendation. So we're gonna get straight into it. Episode 0. There's a prologue and 2 episodes out at the moment, so we'll see how much we cover in this episode. I really like this background art. This background art's really cool. Rain sizzles off neon above me. The summer shower creates a noted uptick in the flickering of holograms down the street, and a slight blunting of the night's ambiance. Emphasis on slight. Lights, cameras, and constant noise. The city's got insomnia, with the uneven heart rate to prove it. There's no escaping the secondhand nervous energy of it all, but I'm plenty acclimated. Just a wave of worries cresting on the surface while I hold my breath deep below. Besides, a microdose of nightlife anxiety suits my mood just fine. Because if I'm not careful, this client of mine's gonna die in jail. Yeah, that always is the thing with these games. Like, Morgan, criminal attorney. It's hard to get away with murder these days. You'd be surprised if this is anything like Ace Attorney. You would be surprised. People are still presumed innocent, at least on paper. But by the time they're in cuffs, there's hardly any shadow of doubt left. Because this whole world's lit up, mapped out, never unknown, and always online. Whether it's incandescent, or neon, or hollow, whether it's LCD, LED, or just the nearest phone screen, there's light shining on every last pixel of the map, and someone's always watching. Solitude's a rarity, and anonymity is scarce. And criminal defense attorneys aren't exactly flush with customers. You take whatever clients you can get. You don't balk at public defender work, no matter the hour. And should you find yourself in one of the last dark, quiet corners left in the whole world, well, smoke 'em if you got 'em. Not that there's much else I can do until... My phone? Oh, I got little cut-ins. Counselor, your public defender contract has been approved. I got a job! You're expected to the 254th precinct. Present your ID at the door to enter. 254th. Arrive at least 15 minutes early. Alright, thanks. I'll try. Are we sending a heart to like the automated message, or is this an actual person? I think we're just sending a heart to the automated like message response. Thanks. I'm glad we're kind to the AI feeding us our job. Looks like the paperwork came through. It's nearly 3:15 now. 90 minutes since I took the job. Probably makes about 2 hours since they finally got smart enough to ask for a lawyer. If they're really smart, they'll have used that time to get some rest. Because now that I'm here, things are going to get busy. Of the Devil, episode 0. And he shall appear. The simple tutorials, you can turn them back on in settings. I'll enable tutorials just because, again, I haven't played this game before. I know nothing about it. The Ace Attorney stuff I'll probably pick up on, like, you know, pressing witnesses, contradictions, that kind of stuff, but I guarantee there's a gimmick. Subject not found. Precinct 254. It's a goddamn ghost town, with nothing but a hologram for a welcoming party. I'm here about a homicide, high clearance rates be damned. You think they'd treat it with a little more gravitas. But whatever. If I'm that unimportant, they've got no right to complain if I take my sweet time getting checked in. And I should take my time. Information's like cash in my line of work. You gotta spend it to make it. And if you're flat broke, no one will give a shit what you have to say. So let's see if I can poke around and shake some change loose. Heads up, press the phone button or tap the phone icon on the top left to access the pause menu where you can save, load, or check settings. You can toggle auto-advancing text with the auto button or check previous lines with the backlog button. Look around for points of interest you can check to investigate the area. You'll earn credit for investigating anything and everything you can. Credit is both a measure of your information gathering skills and your own credibility. So don't go broke. Okay, so... Oh god, the sound is very loud again. Okay, so... That's interesting. So this game actually incentivizes you to check everything, and not just, like, check what's important. Okay. I will admit, I'm not one of the people who plays Ace Attorney checking absolutely everything. I know it's sacrilege, but... I guess we're checking everything this time. High traffic hallways, utilitarian furnishing, multiple screening stations, pragmatic brutalism, so textbook it could teach freshman level architecture. I got earned our first credit. Okay, so it's like poker chips. I like that. That's cool. I can almost hear the building drone on and on about concrete and iron and hard right angles. The civil planning equivalents of battle scars. From a fight won so long ago, they're starting to look ridiculous. Sure, it was all very imposing back when it was built. But walking in here now with crime rates where they are, feels like a hospice ward for heavy-handedness. What's this? A data pad. I'll bite. Even when they're more advertisement than article, they can still be informative. In a flowery, roundabout, corporate propaganda sort of way. Keep an eye out for articles in the environment. They offer insight in the world around you and credit towards your investigation. Articles are added to your phone's reading list after you first read them. Choose the proper takeaway after reading them, and you'll get... I gotta do, like, reading comprehensions? Okay. Alright, subway fixes axed. City to refocus on canopy. Declaring the subway tunnels to be irreparably flooded, city engineers announced this week that all plans to drain and repair the system were being suspended indefinitely. Saltwater damage to sensitive electronic cabling and erosion of key tunnel fixtures were cited as reasons for why 89% of the subway system was evaluated as critically compromised or worse. Civil engineering efforts will be refocused on maintenance and expansion of the hybrid super infrastructure system that weaves together trams, highways, walkways, and skyscrapers into the canopy above our city streets. Reactions to the announcement could be characterized as blasé. It's been years since the subway's last ran, decades since the last ran on schedule. Most citizens have long since given up hope on them ever making a comeback. Online chatter barely reacted to the announcement, with most commenters and voters' attention focused on the growing investigations into Councilman Long's campaign finance irregularities. Of course. As one of the Canopy's major backers in City Hall, Long has often found himself at odds with a small but vocal group of critics that consider it to be an eyesore and an amplifier of light and noise pollution. And with Long having stepped away from his political duties in order to more fully cooperate with investigators for the first time in nearly 20 years, the typically rock-city political foundation of the Canopy was looking uncharacteristically shaky going into this week. But with the subways now officially no longer an option, people and corporations alike have little choice for how they complete their morning commute. Okay, so they're just funneling all, like, traffic of any kind through this canopy. That's interesting. However, not all reactions to the news have been negative. At least a few bold individuals see this latest report as vindication, and possibly even a rallying cry. They're already considered by many to be a rising star in infrastructure solutions abroad. Tech startup Subterra made headlines last year with their radical proposal of a system of personal submarine taxi pods. They can make use of the flooded subway. But momentum stalled when their first prototype for the city came in at a disappointing 3,359% over budget. How? How do you fuck up? Would you not get to the first, like, 1,000% and go, oh, maybe we fucked up a little? Like, how are you... 100% over budget? That's fine. That's fine. That's necessary expenditure. 500% over budget? You know... if it works, it works. 1,000%? You know, who needs that money? 2,000%. Oh, maybe we should cut back. 3,359%. That's where you call it? Okay. Okay. The one council member was quoted as calling their system mind-bogglingly wasteful and impractical in the extreme. In light of this latest announcement, Subterra has proudly declared their intent to resubmit the proposal package. Okay, good job, guys. Across the entire globe, coastal cities like ours have struggled to find civil engineering answers to rising sea levels and subterranean flooding that satisfy financial, practical, and aesthetical concerns. Historically, most scientists have attributed this increase in sea level to climate change, though there are dissenting voices. Water rises and falls all the time, for reasons we do not fully understand. Are we to... For reasons we don't Yeah, we don't actually know what the water system is. Who made it? Who made this water system? The cycle of water. Who made it? Who put it in place? That's what I'm wondering. The page of 0 free articles remaining this month. Thank fucking God. Ballsy of them putting the paywall there. As if I'd reach for my water, having to reward like aesthetical. Besides, I get the gist of it. The takeaway is that the city will be focusing its efforts on the canopy, right? Yeah, I'm media literate, guys. I'm media literate. There'll be increased scrutiny surrounding the canopy now that there's no plan B. It's a massive project with a massive budget. Lines the pockets of a lot of people, big and small. None of them would appreciate Brad Press at the moment, not when Councilman Long has already thoroughly chummed the waters. Alright, what else can we look at? Anything on the ceiling? No. Alright, let's just check this. An actual police lineup. It's like I walked into a museum. The museums tend to feel expensive and clean. Dusty, forgotten, probably lots of unpacked boxes. The homicide department's more like an attic. Hard to believe the Reaver were so busy they had witnesses making IDs in the lobby. Then again, it's hard to believe they were ever doing lineups in the first place. Are you certain? Wasn't it dark? Did you know that during traumatic events, memory formation is blah blah blah? Poking holes in that setup must have been like shooting fish in a barrel. All during billable hours. There's no room to sow doubt anymore. Not when a modded witness can just submit their testimony to video. Okay, so we got like Cyberpunk fucking like what's the word for it? Enhancements, whatever. I don't know. Assuming their phone didn't automatically file a police report for them. Okay, yeah, we're very cyberpunk. The medium's cracked in the corner. What's bad, my phone's made of the same stuff, and I'm rolling dice every time I fall on the sofa. They'll probably not warranty one of these things with a loud sneeze. At least it's not broken. Entirely. Even at this hour, it's still dutifully scrolling through its notifications. Looks like the usual 1-to-1 ratio of public health alerts and inoffensive pop culture trivia you always get served at state buildings. But there's a few missing persons, too. 1 year of silver plan coverage, courtesy of Caduceus, as a reward for any... Silver's no joke. Family must be getting desperate. Alright. Taking in all this scenery and learn as much as I can here. Time to get checked in. Hello, hologram. Put it up fine. So far, so good. Good morning. Morgan. Here for the public defender contract. Could you please provide your name and... Great! Please stand still for a moment. I wouldn't call intake hollows charming, more like harmless. That's probably what the designers were aiming for. People don't mind a quirk or two in their text, as long as it never speaks out of turn. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble placing you. Could you please provide your name and date of birth? So far, so good, was it? Scan my card or scan my face? Scan my card. Say, why don't you just scan my ID card? Great! Now could you just confirm your date of birth for me? Why do they even bother asking? My birth is on the damn ID card and my profile. I have to be a world-class airhead to get this question wrong. No problem. My birthday's... Okay, this is where we check the phone. Profile, Morgan. Why are you green? Why are you green? Okay, December 26th. Okay, well that was recent. Happy birthday. What we got here? Likes puzzles, smoking, wooden furniture. Dislikes commercials, hairdressers, jogging. Talent can fall asleep in any position. Coffee, decaf, a drink, whiskey sour. Alright. I don't know. Do ID profiles in this world have what kind of drink you take? Alright, December 26th. December 26th. Perfect. Good morning, Morgan Counselor. Thank you for your timely arrival and for taking on this public defender contract. If you're ready to speak to your client, you can proceed to counseling quarter 3C. Is that what we're calling it now? You mean the interrogation room? I'm sorry to have caused any confusion. My vocabulary is regularly updated to better reflect state standards. Don't sweat it. I can't keep track of every new euphemism either. I could call it involuntary wellness check room if they like. Doesn't change the way it makes a person feel. Sitting in a stifled box of one-way panels. Nothing to see but their own reflection dully warped across gunmetal walls. Morgan Counselor, can I help you with anything else? Choices that progress the story forward will cause other options to shrink away when selected. Choices that will take the conversation down side paths before returning to this point will not. Because of the article you read earlier, you've unlocked an additional choice in this dialogue. Read and examine at every opportunity to build up your knowledge and get the most out of every conversation. What are you? What are you? I'm a smart user interface, proudly sold by Noble Electronics. Thank you for asking. If you're interested, I could send you a link with information about our subscription packages. Yeah, I'm okay. Should I send you a link with information about our subscription packages? I hate advertisements. No, sorry. That was a mean question to ask. Why the disrepair? I know the city's not terribly concerned with the lower wards, but this is a police station. Why is it so goddamn dusty? This facility is currently undergoing renovations. Since when? The 60s? It has been 22 months since the timetable was last updated. I really don't see a lot of action around here, do they? I'm sorry for any inconvenience you might have encountered. I'm adaptable. What about you? You ever gonna fix that crack? Thank you for asking. It has not interfered with my work. Well, that's all that matters, right? That'll be all, thank you. You'll find the counseling quarters past our homicide detective's office through the door to your right. Thanks. What is this? Oh, this is just like stuff. Thanks. But I think it's just me for now, so you can go on break if you like. Automated dependents do not take breaks, Morgan counselor. And what were you doing before I walked in? You'll find the counseling quarters past our homicide detective's office through the door to the right, thank you. Ads don't get breaks, and they don't get my jokes. But it's usually the humorless types that are most fun to mess with anyway. Eyes gone bad or something. A voice. No, voices coming from down the hall. Compared to yours? Probably. Thank God I stopped for directions. Feeling this empty, the desk could have just told me to follow the echoes. One voice sounds older, rougher, and decidedly low energy. Appreciate you worrying about me. God forbid I try to be serious. Well, they're the ring with a youthful indignation. Not like our job is important or anything. Definitely cops. And at this precinct, at this hour, they might be the only two living, breathing people in this whole complex. Why else would you bother to print all that out? One document or 100. Looks the same on a datapad. Anytime you question a suspect, you need to have a heavy file in hand. Makes them think you know them better than their priest, their mother, their big brother. I was gonna say that. So how many of these sheets were blank then? No red carpet tonight, officers? I'm guessing you're a good cop. Oh, sorry about that, ma'am. We don't keep many extra hands around at these hours. Probably faster to let the desk handling take anyway. But mostly cheaper. You the lawyer? I am. Morgan Esquire. Pleased to meet you. Same here, counselor. Case in London. And the ball of sunshine here is my partner, Farrah Reyes. Ball of sunshine? She certainly is. Sorry if you were kept waiting. Chatter between the departments has been hectic all night. It's no trouble. Give me time to enjoy my cigarette. Cigarette? Like tobacco? What are you, 80? She can't be more than a few years younger than me. We're, the detectives in charge of this particular case. And it looks like tonight we're also your humble guides to the illustrious homicide department. Apologies in advance for any cobwebs. Pretty sure I've seen this London character around the courthouses before. He never struck me as more than just some old-timer. But I suppose being an old-timer is an accomplishment in and of itself in his profession. Sunshine is definitely a new face, though. Rigid in her posture and her attitude. 3 in the morning and her shirt still looks ironed. Person promoted, maybe? 2 whole detectives working at these hours. Sounds serious. Unless you were just the first to arrive on the scene. No, we're not nearly that timely. Uniforms responded to the emergency calls within a few minutes. Calls, plural. Must have been quite the commotion. Look around. You think we're the first to arrive or anything? She's not wrong. We were only tapped after circumstances at the scene indicated involvement with an ongoing investigation. Our ongoing investigation. Not very subtle, is she? I may as well bite at this point. So, you suspected this client of mine is involved in some separate criminal activity? Wait, did they really not? No, I guess they wouldn't put it in a public defender's briefing. Look, consider this a little professional courtesy. A fair warning, yeah? That's the Heartbreak Killer in that room. A Heartbreak Killer. What a name. We've got the bastard dead to rights. So if you're kind, you'll help him plead it out. And if you're smart, you'll pass this shitstorm onto some other night owl and go back to bed. Sorry. I'm not feeling particularly kind or smart at the moment. Sorry. I learned from the best. Phoenix Wright. So perhaps in the meantime, you'd be so polite as to fill me in about this heartbreak killer? They cover utilities at the rock you live under? Is there a problem? You're seriously not familiar with HK? Never heard of him. I've heard enough of him for a lifetime. That name has been plastered all over the city for weeks. Their crimes wavering between breaking news and urban legend. Their presumed goals flip-flopping from unadulterated anarchy to unappreciated vigilantism. At street corners, in the media, on the net, everyone's indulging in the exact kind of armchair detective speculation that I can't stand. Right now, I need to figure out exactly how much the police do or don't know. And when it comes to cops, I always get better results playing dumb than I do acting smart. I take it he's a repeat offender? Was it the killer part that tipped you off? You must have at least heard about his MO. Media's gone crazy with him. Along with everyone else. One bullet straight through the heart. Body left to lie where it falls. Damn, he's accurate. Hence the name Heartbreak? Not exactly creative, but amidst the swirl of every other 100-word article out there, catching his triumphs of originality. What you won't read about online is that all 6 of HK's victims were shot by the same gun, without even needing to reload. Damn. Honestly, like, I kind of aura, you know, walking around with a single like revolver, not even bothering to reload it, getting every guy in one. I think we let him go. You know, I think we let him go just for that alone. Wait until he misses, if anything. You know, then arrest him. Horrible to say, I know, but 6 for 6? That's what I'm saying! That's pretty good shooting, isn't it? Hitting the bullseye at the shooting range is good shooting. Doing it 6 times in a row is great. But shooting 6 people with accuracy like that? That's a whole different beast. Takes a certain kind of monster. A real freak. His pulse probably didn't even rise. You see. Sounds robotic, I agree. 6 shots, hitting the heart precisely, not missing, not reloading. That doesn't sound like a person. You always make him sound like a machine. Is it possible that... No, it's not. There's no such thing as killer robots, madam. Of course, my mistake. For all those androids marching in the military, those robots patrolling in police uniforms, those drones dropping firebombs from the sky, I guess they're all firing blanks. Fair enough. Machines can kill, and they have been for decades. But they don't commit murder. Right. Evil, like Heartbreak, is all organic. Well, I mean, it's easy to say that, but can't you just program a robot to kill people in cold blood? Like, I'm just saying, you know, like... That's a pretty terrifying thought. I should really start paying more attention to the news. How I managed to miss 6 murders. Well, I can only blame yourself for missing 5. Pardon? You're still not getting it? HK's 6th victim was found just a few hours ago, when we caught the son of a bitch red-handed. So you're convinced that my client is the Heartbreak Killer and tonight was his latest crime? That's a serious accusation with very serious consequences. I take it you have serious evidence to back that up? I was being literal, counselor. Red-handed. When we found your client, it was covered in her blood. Well, that's not good, is it? What you say certainly sounds compelling. Is that lawyer talk for open and shut? But even if that's the case, how does one crime scene making good for 6 murders? It's all there in the discovery files and the I'm just gonna say the ARCs, of course. Join the local net on your phone and we'll turn over everything you need. I'll bet. Thanks for that, detective. I'll be sure to read it over. But if that's the same, can I ask you some questions while I've got you here? The hell kind of attorney wants to interrogate the detectives? Oh, a good one. What is that? Like, what do you mean? I guess, you know, this world doesn't really have, detectives like, you know, Morgan said. Okay, let's just, I'll look through this for a bit. Alright, well, we get the profiles. Heartbreak. Damn. Okay, fits cold. I fuck with it. Everything is an occupation criminal, likes killing, dislikes getting caught, Favorite color? Probably red. Probably not into astrology. Suspended due to influx of false reports. Wow. Alright, Rays. Farrah Rays, October 19th. Homicide detective, 3rd class. Likes rice, limes, automata of history. Dislikes liars, small plates, cheap people. Enjoys watching product reviews. Bad at games of chance. Right eye. OS Iris Elite 86. Does she have an operating system in her right eye? Well, that makes me think. Alright, cool. Good to know. London. Kasim, London. May 5th. Homicide detective, 1st class. Likes photography, dive bars, bangs. Dislikes ties, pollen, after hours work messages. Listens to podcasts, hobby pencil sketching. Frequently running late. Yeah, you look like the kind of guy that listens to podcasts. You look like you run a podcast. Terms. Arcs. Augmented reality crime scene. Oh, okay. So we're gonna get to actually, like, be in the crime scene. Like, well, duh, okay, yeah, you get to be in the crime scene fucking anyway, but, like, you know what I mean. Augmented reality crime scene, abbreviated as ARCS, is an investigative tool in which data harvested by the sensors worn on first responders is used to reconstruct a digital copy of a pristine crime scene. Programmed and distributed by a small number of tech corporations and frequently modified or even personalized by local municipalities, ARC systems are used by every major police force, most insurance investigators, and many law firms. After its introduction in the early 2060s, the technology briefly came under scrutiny when the independent news organization United Mediacasters released a series of reports claiming that ARC's data was regularly edited by corrupt officials to erase state secrets. These reports were later found to be fake, and UMC was disposed as the subsidiary of a cell corporation within Lambda Work Solutions, who were marketing a number of alternatives to ARC's technology at the time. Board members at Lambda denounced the actions of said cell and offered assistance to their former competitors in suing leadership at UMC. But the proceedings and settlement in those lawsuits remain sealed. I don't buy that. Corrupt officials not using technology to get them out of hot water? I don't fucking buy it. The other kind of attorney wants to interrogate the detectives. This kind of attorney. You're just that pleasant. Come on, sunshine. Well, we're gonna be punching out anytime soon, right? Whatever. Let your clients stew an interrogation all night for all I care. Intera, you mean the counseling quarters? We're at your disposal, counselor. Alright, interrogation time. Well, actually, first, I want to read. Oh, another article. Man, the music is funky. Latest Noble androids receive warm welcome. Bolstered by a strong earnings report and surging sales of Animate 16, Noble Electronics stock was down 3% this week to a new record high. While Noble's latest iteration has yet to surpass the sheer popularity of its predecessors, and increased profit margin has left Noble's shareholders very enthused. Many investors were skeptical when, at their new, now infamous 2084 trade convention, Noble announced that the 16th line would be their first generation of androids to feature over 50% organic components. Organic? What, like fucking Rihanna? So-called warm androids, which at the time only saw demand in the health, senior, and childcare sectors, were looked down upon as impractical due to increased maintenance costs, cuts, scratches, bruises, and the like. And while some critics voiced concerns that the fringe religious or traditionalist groups might find warm androids controversial, more business-minded, more business-focused minds feared that Noble was alienating its customers in the industrial and military sectors in order to cater to civilian customers. Users that viewed their androids from across the room and not from above the factory floor. However, as has often been the case in the last decade, Noble's data were proven wrong. The Animate 16 is poised to break profitability records, with no sign of slowing down, and many industry analysts predict that these once rare organic androids will completely replace the more robotic predecessors in daily life within the next 3 to 5 years. As described in the earnings report, much of the 16th line's success, and indeed the success of Noble's androids in general, can be attributed to the remarkable, lifelike, personable charm of their products, and by all accounts that charm can be attributed to the work of Noble's famed lead programmer, Dr. David Asher. Lead programmer is the understatement of the century, said Noble brand ambassador Lucy Dees on stage at their latest Noble Industry Weekend. It's because of his Turing solution that every noble product, from the sleekest assistants to the most advanced intensive care technicians, are so beloved and trusted by our customers. While his reputation was on full display at the event, Dr. Asher himself was nowhere to be seen. He's always been reclusive, but he's become a genuine hermit in recent years. Are we really to believe he's still... Hey fam, looks like you're not logged in on this device. Want to put in your account details so we can keep you reading? Fuck off. He's in the news again. No wonder. Can't spit without it landing on a piece of noble tech these days. Especially now where the state's involved. Don't know if they'll bite when it comes to warm androids, though. For government use, they're just... too frail. All androids undergo wear and tear, especially if they're directing traffic or suppressing crowds. If these warm androids bleed pink all over themselves every time they take a rock to the cheek, it's just an endless stream of bad photo ops waiting to happen. Nice. Respect. Shouldn't have cleaned up so much just for little old me, Detective London. Someone really needs to introduce this guy to a filing system, not even just a stapler. Paper documents scattered about lazily alongside actual photographs. Either he's really old-fashioned or really paranoid about data leaks. Oh, he doesn't look like the paranoid type. Well, orderliness aside, some things are better in paper, I'll give him that. What's here? Baron's stark and uninviting. This must be Ray's desk. Keeping your workstation neat and tidy is admirable, but I can't spot a single mote of personalization. She's so new she hasn't even had time to unpack, or is she really that uptight and boring? Both, maybe. Alright, what? Can I interact with anything else, or is that all? I think that's all. Alright. Oh, loose wires, missing panels, and an aircon system that probably sweats more than people it's supposed to cool. No room in the budget for making the office not look like shit, huh? I expect to find a lot of belt-tightening and homicide. But I didn't think their operation would be this bare bones. They got a stunning clearance rate and they work fast. Guess the city sees that and just assumes their job is easy. Maybe their job is easy, what with our dear doting surveillance state and eliminating so much of the footwork. But if your wheels don't squeak, you don't get your palms greased. So homicide ends up it's the only state department with a shrinking budget. And dumping grounds for the police force is most unambitious and least popular. Okay. You know, no need to like. Well, I say no need to like personally like critique and degrade the guys you're just about to talk to, but like that's a staple. That's a staple of the genre. I understand. Nothing else jumps out at me around here. I've got a better idea who I'm dealing with at least. Now I need to check out the crime scene data. I should have been sent a link. Alright. Reply C to confirm. Confirm. Need to reply C in order to confirm. Am I talking to a person? I am an automated dependent. And ads are usually more polite. Our personalities are tailored to suit our users' preferences. So the state likes you to be a little authoritarian. You need to reply C. C. It's case sensitive. Oh, fuck off. C. Thank you. Alright, if I project from my phone... Alright, what do we got? Arcs user portal, authenticating, downloading, initializing. Alright. Augmented reality crime scene. Cool. Alright, let's see what the police have and what they let's see what the police have and what they think is important. The body is probably not important. Let's not worry about that. What about what about this? Seems like this vase got tossed aside at some point. I mean, there's not a scratch on it. Must be pretty damn durable. That's gonna be important. Isn't art supposed to be delicate? Maybe it's making a statement. That's gonna be important. If I know Ace Attorney, and I know Ace Attorney, that's gonna be important. Let's try and make a prediction. I think the vase was placed there intentionally to make it look like a scuffle happened. Yeah. What about mirror? The silent mirror shattered and knocked over. Real glass, no springs or cameras here. It was hit hard. Hard enough to come unattached from its arm, while shards of glass were scattered. Hard enough to land on the victim's body. What a mess. But if shards of glass landed on the victim's body, the body would have had to be there before it broke. Right? What about the gun? A murder weapon, a revolver found right next to the body. 6 empty casings found in each of the 6 chambers, meaning the gun's been fired 6 times. Looks like the crime scene techs practically disassembled the damn thing. All they found were fingerprints belonging to my client. So he was found by the police with the murder weapon right in front of the body. I don't even know where to start. Highly prejudicial would be an understatement. Alright, finally the body. The victim's body. Cause of death, ballistic trauma, class 4 blood loss, atrium and aorta. Single gunshot wound to the heart in brief. Death was instantaneous. No injuries anywhere else. No blood or skin under her nails. Blood spatter, forensic, and all that other good stuff tells them she was shot from there. The killer was standing in the doorway when they fired. I don't believe that, because if there was no other trauma, if the mirror was broken by the body, right? Number one, there couldn't be glass on the body, right? Because naturally, the body would have been already on the ground for glass to fall on top of it, unless the mirror fell afterwards, right? Two, if there's no, surely breaking a mirror, if the glass shards went that far that they landed on the body when it fell, surely they would have at least lacerated the skin a little bit, right? That's what I'm thinking. So the killer was standing in the door when they fired. That's all the big ticket items. What about the security? Looks like the apartment was unlocked all night. Not uncommon for people their age in a neighborhood like this. No sign of the forced entry only hurts my client's case. What about the rest of the room? Not much else flagged here. There's a lounge chair that got thrown and whatever that is. Unidentified ceramic debris. Flag is irrelevant. That's a technical assessment. Guess even the crime scene techs weren't sure what to make of it. Okay, that's everything the police are highlighting. Did I miss anything? Nah, I'm gonna keep going. Can I, like, move around? The hell is that? There's something there. Something in the victim's hand. How the hell did... It's just a pill organizer. Looks like some immune adjusters, NSAIDs, and Traprexosone, a synthetic loose corticoid medication, taken daily to reduce rejection symptoms like phantom pain and generalized itch. The autopsy said her tox screen was clear, but it's not like it matters. She could have swallowed every medicine cabinet in the city and still wouldn't change the cause of death. It's odd, but ultimately irrelevant. Everything else here is all very incriminating, with the kickers, everything that's not here. No out-of-place DNA, footprints, crumbs, nothing that points towards anyone except my client. Well, I've done more with less before, but not much more. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, let's try and formulate a theory here. The pills. What are the pills? Okay, maybe the pills were the cause of death. Right? Because they were heart pills, weren't they? I'm pretty sure they were heart pills. I think I'm talking out of my ass, but let me talk out of my ass here for a moment, okay? Let me talk out of my ass. No, I don't think they were heart pills. Okay. Why would she have pills if her screening was clear, though? Unless they weren't her pills. That's the killer's pills. So whoever the killer is needs pains for phantom pain and generalized itch. Okay, it's good to know. What was the thing off to the side? The ceramic fragments. Maybe... Okay. What I'm thinking is... It says she was killed from the doorway, right? Anyone could have been in the doorway. I'm thinking there was someone in the apartment with her. There was some kind of scuffle, which is why shit is broken and on the floor. And so she was shot from the doorway. The gun was left there. And our client picked it up because they're stupid. And that's how they got incriminated. That's what I'm thinking. And again, the medication is from the actual killer. If I see a single fucker come up in this game later, that needs pills, I'm killing them. I'm killing them. Just across the courtroom. I'm drawing my weapon and blowing their brains out. The judge will have to rule in my favor, because I defeated them in honorable combat. I'm really gonna have to sing for my supper this time, but I could start. Who the hell is messaging me at this time of night? First person who comes to mind is, I suppose it could be something important. Rat. Red. Well, I couldn't wait till morning. Good news, of course. Got a job for you. That's a pretty cheery way to tell me you violated parole. Lol, not that kind of job. Besides, I can cover my tracks. This is something different. Kind of thing I can't handle with just a keyboard and a fishing scheme. I need you to sue my gym teacher. Not that kind of lawyer, sorry. Hey, at least let me finish. What do they do? Make me run laps. Not illegal. Let me finish! They made me run laps. Even though I said I had a stomachache. Oh, poor you. Said. Gotta be like youth endangerment. Depraved indifference or some kind of shit. Sounds like you've already got a strong case. Try self-representing this time. What's with the blow-off? Nice phrasing. Oh wow, I'm laughing so hard right now. See? Okay, I like that. She reminds me of both Fammy and Death from Chainsaw Man. A little bit of both. Kind of Death with the hat and the eyes, but Fammy with the hair. You guys see what I'm talking about? Very nice design. Is that your mugshot? I wasn't gonna not get a copy of my mugshot and use it as a reaction. Glad you found a use case. But I'm working right now, so anything cool? Homicide. Oh, cringe. Fucking craze. Wait, what kind of homicide? Is it HBK? Is that the kind of morbid things your kids your age talk about? Teens my age? And yeah, we can read. Compared to the corrupt shit in the headlines. Old-fashioned murder like Cardi B is like... Wait. It's not heartbreak. And why'd you take the job? Well... You see the 98% conviction rate as a challenge or something? You taking up lost cause, probe nose work? It's pro bono. That was autocorrect. You know they give lit homework for a reason, right? This is borderline concerned negging. Maybe you really are a bleeding heart. Or just a sucker. I'm not a sucker. Nice phrasing, lol. You should go to bed, friend. Tomorrow's Sunday, I can stay up if I want. Tomorrow is Sunday. Because today is Saturday. What's with the Carpe Diem shit? It's nearly 4 a.m., kid. You got school in like 3 hours. You got school on a Saturday? That sucks. Shit. Repeat offenders may be good for business, but that kid's bad for my blood pressure. Important text message, I take it? Just your typical teenage drama. So then, if you wouldn't mind filling me in on a few details. Details. So how about the basics? What exactly has my client been charged with? Your client, Carlos Becker Flat, was arrested on the scene at 9:50 p.m. Using his middle name already? They really do think he's a serial killer. The charge being the first-degree murder of his girlfriend, a Miss Diane Dawn. Okay. Oh, but that's... I have this all put together. He went to check on his girlfriend, like a good concerned boyfriend. Found the door wide open because Heartbreak Killer had been in the building, had a fight in there with her, which was all the scuffle. She stole his medication, but she was shot. And he's a moron, so he picked up the gun. I'm just saying, you know, why even take it to court? first degree, that's increasingly rare, to say the least. And it's rare for us to get handed anything but crimes of passion around here. City's got damn near more cameras than people. So you gotta be really, really stupid to try and get away with murder. Well, Heartbreak's gotten away with it 6 times, so what's that make him? 5 times. That makes him insane. I was gonna go with extraordinary. Let's split the difference and say he's extraordinarily insane. But nutjobs like that aren't renowned for their ability to think ahead. So what makes you think this was premeditated? How about the fact that he stalked and killed 5 other women as a warm-up? Okay, but you don't know that that was this guy. A warm-up? 5 previous bullets, 5 previous victims. None of them knew each other, lived near each other, worked in the same fields. Weeks of digital autopsies crawling up and down their online profiles. Nothing. This serial killer chose his victims at random? What if they have nothing in common? Yeah, nothing in common at all, other than they all look like cousins. Okay, well, that's open. Again, open and shut. Open and shut. He didn't know who he was killing. The Heartbreak Killer didn't know who he was going for other than appearance. He had a specific target in mind, but had no idea who it actually was, so he was just killing anyone with that appearance. Because why would her boyfriend do that? If the boyfriend wanted her dead, why would he kill multiple people that look like her? Unless it's like some fuck up, they're like, oh, I hate my wife, but I kind of like my wife, so I'm gonna go kill multiple people who look like my wife to take out my anger on them. Like, I don't get it. The physical similarities are striking. All 5 prior victims were young women with brown hair and eyes, about the same height, comparable weight. Well, those features aren't exactly uncommon. Couldn't it be coincidence? If you really believe that, you should quit your job and start buying lotto tickets. Go fuck yourself. I know you don't like games of chance, but I am a good gambler. HK has got himself a type. Anyone can see that. You're really gonna try and tell me you don't see the resemblance? Oh, wait. A young woman, brown hair, brown eyes. Can't tell how tall she is from a portrait, but I can take the hint. So you think what exactly? That Carlos Flat wanted to kill his girlfriend so badly he went out and shot 5 other women first? Hey, if the shoe fits. If the shoe fits. Then you put the shoe on the... What sunshine means is that it's not uncommon for killers to displace their violence from people close to them onto outlets with fewer consequences. But then why go and kill the real deal? Drifters, loners, strangers, workers. He was probably building up the nerve for tonight by first practicing on these other similar wounds. Or he's just so far gone that he can't tell the difference anymore. It's not the worst theory in the world, but it doesn't fit. They want to claim that those previous victims were practice runs, dress rehearsals for tonight's main event. But if that were the case, there'd have been signs of hesitation, nerves, that have been mistakes. On top of which, guns are impersonal. Execution shots even more so. There's no sadism or hatred or intimacy in a single bullet to the heart. Killing your girlfriend or her lookalikes usually is, if nothing else, a lot less sterile. Yeah, it's robotic. That's why, again, I think there's those flesh robots, the ones we talked about in the article. I think one of them could be involved, perhaps. But my main theory is banking on Heartbreak had some personal vendetta against someone with these features. Hold on. I want to get what are the features again? Young woman, brown hair and eyes, about the same height, comparable weight. Wait a minute. You have brown hair, kind of brownish eyes. Do I have a profile for the victim? No, that's terms. Shit. I don't. This is flat. Civil disturbance 2 times. No charges. No, he hasn't done his psych eval. I don't know. I think our guy has it out for perhaps the detective. And that's why he's doing this. He doesn't know her name or what she works as or anything, but he wants her dead. And so he's killed a bunch of people that look like her trying to kill her. Something like that. Or, actually, no. Genuinely better thought process. It's like I said, it's the flesh robot. Okay, it's the flesh robot, but it's a flesh robot that's got working on faulty programming, and it's kind of just has a target. It's been programmed to, either programmed to or it's bugged out, and it's specifically targeting people with that description, right? Something like that, maybe. I don't know. I can't make the pills work into that yet, though. I don't know. What do I know? Oh, if you ask me. What was that? Oh. On top of the last line. Killing your girlfriend or her lookalikes is usually, if nothing else, a lot less sterile, if you ask me. Timeline. Saw the time of death was 9 p.m. on the autopsy, but do you have a timeline for the rest of the night's events? Can't trust much of what comes out of his mouth. Well, we managed thanks to less biased sources, and we're pretty confident about what we've been able to piece together from their statements. So they interviewed witnesses. Sounds eerily similar to real police work. The suspect and his girlfriend were arguing loudly with one another starting around 8 p.m. Neighbors were very clear about that part. Couldn't wait to tell us about the happy couple's domestic problems. Everyone in the building knew they'd been fighting for weeks. As you probably gathered from what you saw in the arcs, there was a struggle. Furniture turned over, glass shattered, but things go quiet sometime before 9. And then there's a gunshot. Scrubbers are still scrubbing, looking for audio from that area to get a timestamp, but we heard from enough concerned citizens to be pretty damn sure about the time. Right. Emergency service got a burst of calls from the block shortly after 9 p.m. No one seemed to recognize the sound for what it was, but the silence that followed was pretty universally alarming. Officers arrived on the street about 9:08 p.m., established a perimeter, entered the open front door at 9:10, and they find your client crouched over his dead girlfriend, his hand covered in her blood. At which point, they moved to secure the scene and the suspect. Sorry, did you say his hand, singular? Your client's modded, cybernetic right on. How modded are we talking about here? Registered with a HOW 85 habilis. I keep getting the voice mixed up. Registered with a HOW 85 habilis, industrial grade, looks like. Say he's spec'd for dexterous manipulation of up to class 4 KPA, which means a minimum grip strength of, well, basically, he could crush your neck without even gritting his teeth. Considering his career change? No, it's not that. It's just, your eye must be very sensitive for you to put the patch back on each time. And you're right, though. You just had a 14-year-old sense of fashion. You think a cop would cover up her dominant eye because it was fashionable? I actually thought the same thing the first time we met. You what? Well, getting back on track, that armor of his has been in the shop for some time now. You can't work without him. Money's tight. The arguing? Yeah. When did he put his arm in for repairs? 8 days before HK's first victim was killed. Well, no chance we're willing to chalk that up to coincidence. Your client was arrested on the scene after a preliminary scan found his fingerprints on the revolver, and no one else's. A revolver, what kind? The old kind. The real old kind. More specifically, a Calver M54. 6-chamber, 10mm. Calver? Oh, retro. You don't know the half of it. We're talking steel chamber, real gunpowder, mechanical firing pin, and no tags. No tags? How is that? Just how old are we talking here? Yeah, 24/7 location data, timestamp trigger pulls, safety is coded to owner biometrics. Over the past 3 decades, tags have made shooting crimes very unambiguous. So you're claiming my client used some kind of antique to commit these crimes? How else do you think he'd have gotten away with it 5 other times? If he tried to buy a gun legit, he'd probably fail his very first psych check. And even jailbroken pieces are only good for so long before the update withdrawal sets in. So then, M54, that's model year 2054. A 30-year-old gun. So in 2084. Well, that sure complicates things, doesn't it? In some ways, sure. But pre-tagging firearms are rare. Gotta be less than 1,000 of them left in the whole country, and fewer still compatible bullets. The ammunition would have had to be over 30 years old too. The novelty of his weapon has kept us in the dark so far. But now that we have our hands on it, it's gonna put him away for good. Archive department complained loud as hell about how deep they had to dig. But with the protocols they found, the techs were able to match the rifling marks on all 6 bullets to the gun your client was found with. Rifling marks. I'm well equipped with these. Bullets fired from guns that old are marked by the barrel's shape. So if all 6 bullets had the same rifling marks, we know that they were all fired by the same gun. It's not as plug and play as tags are, but it's equally precise science, I assure you. And if that's not damning enough, the spent casings from the other 5 shootings were still in the chamber, without even needing to reload. The caliber your client was found with is the gun HK used to kill 6 women. No way to lawyer around that. An untagged gun. Just being anywhere near a weapon like that could warrant your arrest. Being found by the police over a dead body with an untagged gun used at 5 other crime scenes is just... To summarize then, you believe that my client fought verbally, then physically with his girlfriend. Then he retrieved this weapon and shot her? Yeah, pretty much. How did he look when the officers found him? Guilty. How was his effect? Quiet. Detached. Stiff. Not exactly the picture of a grieving partner. We all grieve in different ways. Maybe he was in shock. That reaction may have lost some points with the cops, but beyond that, people react to loss in all kinds of unusual ways. So long as the police are suspicious of you, there's no right way to grieve. I want to see the androids and cops first. By the way, I couldn't help but notice that you're light on staff. It's 3 in the morning. Were you expecting a parade? I thought there'd at least be a few androids around. There aren't many androids in any police station this week. Not while the brass is renegotiating contracts. Contracts with Noble? Good guess. Hardly. They're the biggest... Hardly. They're the biggest robotics corp there is. Could spend all day in Center City without leaving their office's shadow. Yes, we're very fortunate to have them headquartered here. Saves us some money on shipping at least. But these talks never last that long. I'm sure they'll be back to writing checks for Noble ads by the end of the month. Even with Noble pushing those warm androids? Warm, yeah. Might as well call it the adult line. Might seem when the bigger departments are out on patrol, but not around these offices. Warm or cold, there's no such thing as an android detective. Yet. Yes, really? You think that'll happen? We already use ads for patrolling, securing the scene, pacifying crowds. Doesn't seem like that big a stretch to me. You're joking, right? Android detectives? With all the pain we go through getting witnesses to talk to us? With your warm personality, I can't imagine. A cop knocks on your door, starts asking questions, you're gonna be put in a bad mood. An ad knocks on your door, calls you a degenerate criminal in a synthesized voice loud enough for the whole neighborhood to hear, you're gonna start posting shit that'll get you put in a list. Well, we certainly don't want that. But flesh and blood witnesses are becoming less and less common anyway. Cameras, sensors, satellites, we already got all our facts from machines. Give it a few more years, that it might make sense to let machines do the investigating too. The union would. The police union wouldn't let that happen. She needn't have specified. It's the only real union there is anymore. Alright, heartbreak. Checking my phone here, and I have to say, you've done a pretty admirable job keeping the details of HK's crimes a secret. Do I have more on HK? Evidence. Okay, we actually have the victim, Diane Dawn, was a 27-year-old agricultural genetics researcher for Perigee Laboratories. Found shot through the heart in the bedroom of the apartment she shared with the prime suspect Carol Flat. No known connection to any previous HK victims. Flat's coat. The coat the suspect was wearing when taken into custody. Taken by lab techs for additional analysis, but initial tests showed blood on the left sleeve matched that of the victim. What arm of his is fucking augmented again? I forgot. Debris. Ceramic debris of indeterminate origin found at the crime scene, found on the far side of the room by the western window. Technicians note flag is irrelevant on next pass. By the window is interesting. I think Heartbreak broke out. I don't think he broke in because the door wasn't locked on that. I think he broke out. I don't think the boyfriend was there at 8 p.m. when the arguing started. I don't think he was there. I think that was Heartbreak. So I think Heartbreak broke out at 9 when people heard when after he fired the bullet and went through the window. Well, I don't think he broke out the window. I think he opened the he was when climbing out the window he broke something. More accurately. Vase. Another miracle showing vase by knocked off the crime scene. Weighty and sturdy, it remains featureless even after being tossed. Yeah, that's interesting. The fact that hasn't even been scratched. Don't know what the deal is there. Suspect's prosthetic. How Industries Habilis 2085 mechanical limb. Boasts an impressive combination of grip strength, dexterity, and low-cost maintenance. The success of it and its sister products went a long way towards securing cent contracts for How Industries. Revolver. Caliber M54 6-chamber 10mm revolver. Various fingerprints matching Carlos back or flat left hand with a 99.91% certainty. Rifling marks match the bullet, which pierced the victim with 99.97% certainty. Rifling marks match the bullets from previous Heartbreak killings with 99.98, 99.8989 certainty. No match to any of their archive forensic data as far back as 2051. Okay. Pill organizer. A common brand of pill organizer found in the victim's grasp. Contains a number of the prescription and over-the-counter medicine, including immune adjusters, NSAIDs, and triprednisone, prescribed to reduce moderate to severe discomfort arising from mod sensitivity complications. The cases classed are surprisingly difficult to open. Oh, mod sensitivity complications. That makes me think of Flat, right? Because Flat is modern, so maybe those are his pills. But why would she have them? Glass shards. Pieces of glass from the broken standing mirror found at the crime scene. Said mirror was a low-tech furnishing with no digital components to pull data from. Hit with enough force to scatter shards of glass onto the victim's body. Yes, that was hit after the body was on the ground. Autopsy. Time of death, 9 p.m. Cause of death, ballistic trauma, class 4 blood loss, single bullet pierced the subject's sternum, left atrium and aorta. Death was instantaneous. There's some handwriting at the bottom of the scanned document. Same handiwork as Previous 5 lab. Brief 5. Lab message to confirm ballistic match 2. Thanks for your professionalism. Arc status. Augmented reality crime scene data from the victim's apartment. Lawful capture comes from the following. Victim was shot from the room's doorway. No expected DNA present. No expected crumbs present. No expected fingerprint present. No evidence of digital tampering. Yeah, I think our culprit here is fully modern. I think he's fully modern. Like everything. Either a complete fucking organic skin android, or just a guy completely modded to shit. Maybe okay, yeah, wait. We know the skin droids get damaged, right? We know do they hurt? Because if they hurt, that gives credence to the pills being from them. Okay, well, I'm onto something. I'm so fucking good at this game. What other details do I have? Don't want to read any of that. That's it. All these reputable sites are doing some real journalistic acrobatics to try and piece together a story. Yeah, top 11 theories on who hurt HK was a real weighty read. It's not just journalists though. All kinds have been emboldened. The freaks that HK has managed to bring out of the woodwork in just a few weeks. Can you blame him though? I mean, he's a genuine serial killer. Repeat offenders in general are endangered species, but he's gotten away with. We know what he's gotten away with. Take a look around us, detective. National DNA registry is robust enough that cases never go cold. Cameras on every street, a phone on every citizen. Violent crimes at an all-time low and clearance rates at all-time highs. But you gotta spout some all-Paul bullshit about invasion of privacy? No, I'm not. People are safe now than at any other time in history, detectives. So when someone like Heartbreak does come along... Good point. London's trying to look like he can laugh it off. Pressure from the higher-ups must be reaching its peak. They want, maybe need, to see someone charged. And that makes them predictable. Yeah, well, even if there's nothing standard about HK, Department SOP still dictates we starve the media for case details. That way, when we do feed them, they're grateful for whatever scraps they get. But we can't take all the credit this time around. Homicide's tight-knit and tight-lipped, but it's not like there's much information for us to leak in the first place. And why is that? Because none of the shootings were caught on the opt-in crime surveillance system. How is that even possible? I know that there are some rough areas in the lower wards, but optics is watching every other street in the entire city. You're saying you haven't seen this killer on camera once? You think we'd have let him kill 6 people if we did? I understand your concern, man, but optics is only what it says in the name. Private surveillance system setting up to feed the state security network. It's not perfect. It's just another one of the many public safety tools in our belts. It's not meant to be perfect. No, it's not meant to be perfect. It's meant to help us solve crimes. Or at least act as a deterrent. One would hope so. Bad chance. Deterrents are for war rooms and board meetings. Anyone crazy or desperate enough to commit a crime in a city like this couldn't care less about anything as vague as the consequences of their actions. It's like a safety blanket, one with very few holes left in it. But it does have holes. Okay. That gives me more credence to it being an android. Because what if they just hack the system? Right? Patching up those remaining holes takes effort, and that effort usually means rebooting the system. There's all kinds of technical details and digital bureaucracy involved, and the result is that there are occasional localized blackouts, and the math used to schedule them is not impossible to predict. I see. But those windows of opportunity are small and short. Taking advantage of them requires specific knowledge. You need to be involved with law enforcement, pub data, or city planning. Interesting. I'd have mentioned it if my client was a cop, and he wouldn't have needed a public defender either. Yeah, that, again, okay, so we know, did it say that the, skin androids were being used in government positions? Because if so, I'm just saying, my theory might look more likely. This file says he is modded for heavy mass manipulation, not tech interfacing, so that just leaves city planning. So does he work construction for the city? HK has only ever struck at times and locations where optics would be down, even with the devil's own luck. It can't possibly be coincidence. Wait, so you're saying when this woman was killed? Yeah, it was a blackout from around 8 to 9 tonight. Right on schedule, so to speak. And it included an area surrounding the victim's apartment. That's interesting. Surrounding. Well, what about data from the other crime scenes? Was my client a match? There's been no blood, no saliva, no suspect DNA at any of the crime scenes. Again, Android. No footage and no forensics? Also, no motives, tampering, or witnesses. It's been like hunting a damn ghost. We didn't even have a murder weapon until now. Finally, a lucky break for the boys in blue. Scanners, cams, drones, forensics, no matter how you dress it up with tech, all detective work relies on one basic assumption. People make mistakes. But HK is the kind of monster who doesn't make mistakes. Only reason we ever caught him tonight was that because he finished what he had set out to do all along. So is my client on the list of suspects before tonight? Weren't you listening? There was no list of suspects. We questioned some X's, a few CIs, someone even spoke to 1 or 2 unlisted at some point. Nothing came of it. He was talking about starting on some kind of psych eval or something, but I never expected to come of that. There's just not enough there to work with. In other words, the only thing they have, the only thing they could have to link my client to those killings is the murder weapon. If I can jostle that keystone, then the rest of the case should start to come loose as well. Thanks for the chat, detectives. I think I understand the background well enough. Candidly, I see the same strokes you do. And the picture it paints isn't pleasant. But even so, it seems a bit unrefined to be brought before a judge, don't you think? Hey, it's only our job to catch the bastard. The DA is the one who gets the conviction. Besides, we're not exactly gonna have to work hard to convince anyone of his guilt. And why is that? Because we found a handwritten confession at his desk. Oh, you're fucking serious. Dog, why? Why confess to a crime you didn't commit? Well, that's, unexpected. I'm sorry, you're not telling me that you wrote a confession? Has it been verified? Not yet. We have to muscle past everyone in fraud and disinfo to get to that, to get to the front of that line. Why bother? They know it's covered in his fingerprints. There's a copy in the discovery data, but I should warn you, it doesn't exactly make for light reading. Come on. Where is it? I'll have to manage somehow. I need to see the confession for myself. Okay. Sorry for everything. Can't say it enough. Didn't mean to hurt you or do what I did. Did not want any of it to happen. Can't stay in control when I get mad. When I'm not in control, I hurt people without meaning to. Wish I hadn't broken them. Didn't mean to at first. But I was hurting. Wanted you to hurt too, but didn't want to hurt you. Words aren't enough to know what I know. Aren't enough. I know that now. I'll take responsibility and do what I've been avoiding. Please forgive me. Okay, that's not a fucking confession. That's the ramblings of a depressed man. That'll come up in court. Oh, it was difficult to read. Barely legible, in fact. Well, got a spin on that? No need. But it's a confession. Not a confession that he signed, though, is it? Not yet. And not one he intends to sign anytime soon, considering that he asked for representation. Yeah, the most wanted man in the city asked for a lawyer, and got you. Guess you're both lucky. Hardly. I just happened to be awake when the call went out. But I'm not so flushed with work that I can afford to turn tail now. So if you don't mind, I'd like to go and speak with my client. What? He's not still handcuffed in there, is he? Look, Counselor, with all due respect, we have strong evidence pointing to that man being responsible for 6 murders. 2 hours or so in cuffs isn't cruel or unusual. And that's for your safety as well. It's kind of you to worry, but I doubt I'll be in any danger. He's killed 6 women. None of them were redheads. Good point. Seriously, though, I'd like to speak with him alone now. Camera's off if you don't mind. Mic's on or off is your call, Counselor. But we'll be watching the feed from right outside in case anything happens. And the cuff, that is, stays on. Not worried about me? How chivalrous. Yeah, my arm is practically blinding. Gross. I'll start the unlock cycle. Counselor, just one last word of advice. If you have any interest in his well-being, I'd suggest you help him sign that confession. Not a bad idea. I do get paid either way. But the part of defense attorney isn't just for show, Detective. I mean it. 6 people dead is one thing. But he's also caused weeks of widespread terror and public unrest. Putting it another way, he's made the state look bad. That's a capital crime if there ever was one. And even if the death penalty's not actually on the table these days, I can guarantee he's not going to like whatever rehabilitation plan they draw up for him. Look, I've seen the virtual work release program in prison, and it's being challenged before the Supreme Court. Yeah, sometime in the next decade, maybe. Just remember, a plea deal might feel like a loss for you, but if it keeps him from... well, that's probably a win for your client, right? Prison sentences are generally lighter for those who plead guilty, that much is true. It saves the courts a great deal of time and money, and they show their gratitude with reduced sentencing. But no one will ever be grateful towards the Heartbreak Killer. Anyone convicted of killing 6 people, they'll never rest their mind another day in their life. 3:35 a.m., June 5th, 2086. Oh. Hello. It's depressing as hell in here. They need to liven this place up. Oh. Carlos Flat, right? I hope you don't mind if I get comfortable. I've got a lot to cover, but this shouldn't take all night. Why do you... Look, I already told you people, I'm not a cop, Carlos. Furthest thing from it. I'm a lawyer. You're a lawyer, in fact. And I'm here to help you. Yeah, well, they said that too. All of them did. Back there. In here. Kept repeating the whole ride over. They said that they were going to help me. That they knew this was all a mistake. That they said that I killed. Acting like they were on my side. And they thought that I could have... It's not their job to help you, Carlos. But it is mine. And I'm here now. He's still in shock. I need more information, but if I approach this the wrong way, he'll just clam up even more. I'm sure you're exhausted. It's probably difficult to think, let alone speak. But I'd like you to try and answer a few questions. The police already questioned you, I'm sure, but they were treating you as a suspect, not as a client. Okay. So what do you want to know? About you. Let's start simple. Something mundane, grounded, wrote. I'd like to know a bit more about you first, Carlos. Something like, what line of work are you in? What city engineering? Okay, so that's bad. Or I was, or I should be. As I thought, the police must be convinced he mapped the optics blackouts using data he stole from work. My arm, I got it slotted for the job. And, Carlos, I'm gonna need more than that. So what do I know? He works in city engineering, not a desk job. Ray said he was modded for work, and that arm must be in custody at the moment. But based on his shoulder, it had to be pretty. I don't know. I'd have to say utilitarian. Utilitarian, yeah. Even struck me as the type who's enamored with the aesthetics of modding. The young and the restless and the rich, swapping in neon and chrome limbs because they like the way it looks. Or the way it makes other people start looking at them. No, he's pragmatic, grounded, and very unlucky. In which case, I should be too. You know, my brother wanted to mod. Really? Really? I don't even have a brother. He had everything planned out. A whole career path of promotions and bonuses and the upgrades they'd afford him. Then came his 18th birthday present. Test results politely informing him that he's not a viable candidate. That sucks. I think he felt relieved, actually. Seemed like he was a ways off his chest. Like he was glad he didn't have to choose. Does that make any sense? Yeah, I think it does. I always figured I'd start it all. If I... No, shit. I always figured if I'd start it all, I'd start small. A hand or an eye. Test the water. Never thought about lobbing my whole damn arm off, but the recruiter was enthusiastic. He said, because of the NCDA, there was financial aid and resources. Of course, that got shit canned, so now me and every other modder is royally screwed. Couldn't even let me keep the tax credit. The new Citizens with Disabilities Act was amended, not repealed. I doubt he'd appreciate the distinction at the moment. I worked the tighter spaces, the high-vol environments, mostly canopy upkeep. Typical stuff for modders, you know. He's speaking freely now. Doesn't need to do much more than repeat his words back to him to keep him talking. The right word choice here or there can still make a difference. You work on the canopy. You must be... Under a lot of pressure. You must be under a lot of pressure now that the subways are cordoned off. Damn straight. And this crap with the Hong? Once word got out that the case against him was real, every desk job in the chamber became terrified of their own shadow. All of them convinced that Eternal Affairs is going to come knocking if they misplace so much as a paperclip. Everything by the book means no room for compromise, no room for problem solving, no room for engineering. Yeah, and no patience for screw-ups. He's trying very hard not to look at his shoulder. Why aren't you wearing your prosthetic right now, Carlos? Yeah, that. Rejection issues, starting last month. A lot of sleepless nights. Rejection? Did the therapy not take? It's not like that. I wasn't oozing pus out of my sockets or anything. Then do these rejection issues have anything to do with your scares? Not in the way you're thinking. I'm right-handed. Oh, that sucks. Those cuts on his face are just from shaving. Never thought this would go on so long and I had to relearn how to do everything. I mean, the problem started small, trembling. But then spasms, just oversensitivity, they said. An easy fix. Also, this proves he's innocent because he couldn't have hit a shot from the doorway straight through the heart when he's fucking right-handed. He couldn't have hit that shot. That's not possible. Yeah, like, come on. Just oversensitivity, they said. An easy fix. But the problem got bigger. Couldn't let it get that far. Need to be able to trust your own hands when you're on the job site. Drop a cutter at the wrong moment and look could get hurt. So I sat down, made an appointment, and turned in my arm. And watched my case get placed at the back of the damn line. Where'd you turn it in? Some mass turnaround chop shop with a waiting list like you wouldn't. Doesn't sound like you're a happy customer. Hell no! I've had a dozen other clinics with shorter wait times. But as long as I'm renting and not owning, the manufacturer decides where your arm gets maintenance. And that's why I'm sitting here with this expensive-ass stump for a shoulder. I haven't been able to work in weeks. Bosses were generous enough to say my position might still be there when I've got 2 working arms again. You couldn't buy or rent a replacement yourself just in the meantime? I serve at the pleasure of the state, and they've got exclusivity contracts with Hindi, all locked up white-knuckle tight. Hindi? How Industries? As I recall, he's registered with some of their Habilis models. If I took one step on site with uninsured tech, forget the fine, I'd lose down payment and my harm. and I'd never work in the city again. If this was last quarter, maybe I could have worked something out with management, but like I said, no one's sticking their neck out for anyone that belongs in hot shit. You mentioned discomfort. Are you in pain? Pain will come and go. It's the itches that'll kill you. And the phantoms come back pretty fast when I don't have anything arm-shaped attached to me. Didn't they give you something to, well, wear in the meantime? Something the clinics line out for cases like this? What they gave me is a deadweight, 3-jointed landfill big piece of shit. Sorry, it's a very shitty feeling having a part of your body that you know that they cut corners on. It fits. It's compatible. Technically, I can slot it in and feel on balance again. The fingers don't even bend and the quick twitch motors are way off. It's like walking around with your arm asleep or dead. So, were you wearing it when... You were arrested is softer. Were you wearing it when you were arrested? No, I wasn't. I'm pretty sure I saw the police bagging it as evidence, so... Can't have gotten too far. The Detective Reyes was being quite literal about how it was found. He had the victim's blood in his left arm only, because at the time in question he didn't even have a right. No inconsistencies in the story so far, and he's opened up about as well as can be expected. But this has all just been a warm-up for the both of us. Now comes the delicate part. Carlos, you and the victim were romantically involved. How long did you two know each other? Right. I've known her since college. We shared a few classes, some mutual friends, always got along. Eventually we just got together at some point. Guess I never actually asked her out the real formal way. Sounds pretty cowardly saying that out loud. Diane, she was in genetics, focused her studies on agriculture. It always takes them a few tries to get used to using past tense. Just finished her post-grad work this year. Got hired right out the gate, practically headhunted. You believe that? Practically headhunted. Of course she was. Any company'd be lucky to have her. Unlike... It was a real-ass job, paid real-ass money, too. So her career was starting to pan out. Right as yours had fallen into the mother of all slumps. Where was she hired? Pedigree? No, Pedigree Laboratories. I say that like the name matters. The whole setup's under Harco's umbrella. That doesn't narrow it down. The Harvest Corporation grows a third of the soybeans and corn in the entire country. One client that size, the lab wouldn't need any others. Now, no corporation earns the mega prefix without a little throat cutting. But Harco is about as tame as big business can get. Predictable like the seasons, no one's gonna buy that they had some lab tech murdered because of corporate greed. Had she adjusted well to her new job? Yeah, they loved having her there. She never mentioned arguments or disputes, corporate politics getting rough. I don't think so. Not like I've been a good listener lately. But I never got the impression that she... Look, no one I know could do this to her. There's nothing she could have done that would deserve what happened to her. It was a long shot, hoping for a disgruntled character from her past to shift blame onto. With no other suspect, I can't just reshuffle the detective's suspicions. I have to disprove their argument entirely. Thank you, Carlos. That was very helpful. It was? Now, I'd like to try and tell me whatever you can about what happened tonight. Oh, start at the beginning and take your time. The details are important. Alright, Miss, Morgan. I'll try, Morgan. When you're ready. We were arguing. We had been arguing a lot lately. Arguing about stupid stuff. I haven't been working. Haven't been making money. Haven't been pulling my weight. I was mad at myself. But more than that, I was jealous of it. Jealous over nothing. Jealous over goddamn money. The reports say you were arguing around 8 p.m. 8? Yeah, it must have been when we started. When we got into it, and I said a lot of things that I shouldn't. And I said one thing that I really shouldn't have. I crossed the line, and we both knew it, so I left. You left? Yeah, walked out the front door. Thought some fresh air might help cool me off. Help me figure out what to say to make it up to her. Of course, the air wasn't fresh, just humid, thick like mud. And while I was pissing away at the time, Diane was... Did you bring your phone with you or any electronics? No. I kind of stormed off, didn't even take my key fobs. Didn't even lock the door behind me. With optics down, traffic and street level cameras won't help him. That leaves. Did you go through a checkpoint or talk to anyone with modded eyes? Did you buy anything, cash or credit? No, not even a vending machine. Not even a damn vending machine, huh? I may have met my match. How can anyone be this unlucky? That's quite unfortunate. I just wanted quiet at the time, wanted to wallow in it, really. Sorry if I don't have all the details straight in my head as what my exact route would help. The cam's probably... What? What is it? He doesn't know. He doesn't know. Optics was what? Can that even happen? And there's no other proof that you were out at the time Diane was killed. Meaning you've got no alibi. This can't. Listen, I didn't do this. I couldn't. Carlos, I'm the one person you don't have to try to convince. After all, I'm your lawyer. So let's just get it all out there and see what we got to work with. Right. Now, you said you left it clear of your head, so what made you come back? I came back because I heard a noise. A loud noise. Didn't know what it was. But it was loud and it scared me. And I came from the direction of our apartment. I was walking back at first, but at some point I must have started running, because when I got back I was so out of breath. And when I saw that the front door was open, something dropped in my chest and my lungs when... You live on the first floor, right? Yeah, first floor apartment, street facing entrance. We were proud of that when we first moved in, like it was some kind of big deal. In the hallway I saw her, but I didn't realize. I never thought that she was... The lights were off, the whole room was a mess. I thought we'd been robbed, that she'd fallen. There was broken glass, furniture knocked over. And she was... I called her name and she didn't move. I checked her pulse and she was still warm. Her blood was warm. And I saw... the gun. It looked so heavy, but I thought it had to be fake because I didn't want it to be real. Is that why you picked it up? What? Pick up? I didn't touch that thing. I didn't shoot her, damn it. Doing what I do, you hear a lot of lies. White lies, blatant lies, hasty lies, bad lies especially. For me, it's always been easy to spot a lie, but it can't be hard to know what to do about it. I have all the proof I need in my files, but he's nervous and defensive, and none of this works if he doesn't trust me. Stay up to date on the details of all evidence by checking your phone. If your clients notice that you don't know what you're talking about, they'll stop giving you any cred. You did touch the gun, Carlos. That's just a fact, and we know because... I'm gonna double check, but I'm pretty sure it's prints, right? I'm pretty sure it's the prints. Yeah, fingerprints. Those are your prints. It's a fact that your fingerprints are on that gun. What? But I didn't do this. I didn't. I wasn't thinking. I was just... Carlos, all I'm saying is that you picked it up. That's all. Would you believe me if I say I didn't realize it was a gun? That explains how his prints got on the gun, but not in a way that would satisfy the police. Still, if all he did was hold the gun. So stupid. I know what a gun looks like. But seeing it in my own home right in front of... You were in shock, Carlos. You still are. The police came in sometime after that. I don't remember much of what they said. We started moving so fast, it seemed like... the rest of my night went probably the way you'd expect. Carlos, you admit to having a verbal argument with Diane. But you said you were surprised to see the room trashed when you got back. To clarify, you're saying that you two never had a physical fight? What? Physical? We never fought. We never fought like that. Did the police say that we did? They assumed as much. Which means they also assumed the room was disheveled well before the shooting occurred. Considering what Carlos told me, what else did they assume? What is it? I'd like you to take a look at something for me. The crime scene. Oh, it's an AR module built from data taken as the police entered, so... Right, it's just data, Carlos. No grisly details. Okay, let me see it. Take your time. Alright, I think I've got it. That's how the police found things. Now close your eyes and think back to how the room looked when you left. Try and focus on what's out of place. Alright. I'll take notes, you just say whatever comes to mind. I don't remember exactly where everything was. But, well, the mirror was upright, of course. And that clock was still on the wall. The chair got knocked over at some point, the bed got tossed, the cushions torn, and the urn fell. Other than that... No, sorry, that's all that stands out to me. I see. Like so? What's wrong? Something out of place? Carlos, you need to trust your instinct. If anything seems off, don't be afraid to speak up. It's just I guess I just assumed your notes would be making edits to the AR. Well, I suppose that works too. Sorry, I didn't mean... I think your drawing was pretty good, considering... I'd like to change the subject now, Carlos. Right. Let's talk about the letter that was found on your desk. Letter? What do you mean? I mean this letter here. Do you recognize it? Because the police are calling it a confession. A confession? But this is just a note to self. Pardon? Look, when we fight, I lose my temper, say things I don't mean to. So this morning I tried writing things down so I'd have a script to stick to, so I could apologize to her instead of just fighting with her. Carlos, you say in the note that you hurt them. That's... I broke her fidget tubbies. Are you serious? Oh, buddy. Her what? Ahem. Her what? Oh, Carlos, buddy, you poor fucking guy. Her fidget tubbies. They're these collectible ceramic character things. They're supposed to be like tactile, use them as paperweights or conversation starters. Conversation starters? She loves those little things. They're not worth a damn. You can buy them at any flea market or garage sale, but they meant a lot to her, and I broke them. I mean, I was pissy at the time, but that goddamn piece of shit vent alarm, I hardly knew where I was swinging it half the time. Got so angry, I just ripped it off and tossed it in my room, that cheap, dusty, worthless... Okay, so he did break her frigiduckies with its replacement arm. What does that change? Nothing at the moment. There's not enough detail in the note for me to prove what his intent was when he sat down to write it. But if the police insist on claiming it's a confession for the heartbreak killings anyway... Couldn't even bother to sweep him up, I felt so. Wait. Couldn't even bother to sweep him up. That's what... That's what some of the extra debris is. Alright, Carlos, thanks for answering my questions. Now I'm gonna call the police back in here and I'm gonna get this cleared up for you. What? That's it? That's it. Oh, okay. Although before I do that, I do have to ask. What do you know about the Heartbreak Killer? Heartbreak? You mean that psycho that was trending all month? I mean, as much as anyone, I guess. I haven't been getting out much, but I'm sure everyone's on edge, a guy like that out there. He shoots people through the heart, right? The police have kept the victim's appearance far away from any upstanding news sources. So unless he was already following the murders, Carlos wouldn't notice the resemblance of his girlfriend. I mean, she was shot in the chest, but that doesn't mean anything, does it? If he's this slow on the uptake, it's going to be a real shock when those officers walk in here and accuse him of being the serial killer. I'll just have to squash that theory. As quickly and definitively as possible. I can do that. I can do that. I'm a lawyer. This is my job. 4:04 a.m. I didn't realize you could smoke in here. Technically, I can smoke whenever I want. For a fee. I guess so. Nervous? Don't be. I'm the one who's on the clock. Right. I'm sure this isn't your first time doing this. No, of course not. It will be my first homicide defense, though. Oh. Why does everyone think the first time's so goddamn important? Hey, cheer up. I've got relevant experience in other areas. Oh. I don't know. What areas are those? You ever gamble, Carlos? No, ma'am. I never go anywhere near loot boxes. Won't touch the stuff. I meant more like playing cards. Oh, well then, no to that too. I've actually got pretty terrible luck. Gonna fool me. Well, what I do is a lot like poker, Carlos. Poker's nice, because even if you're dealt nothing but crap all night long, you can still win. Which makes things pretty fun. Okay, so, do you have a good poker face? I like to think so. And are you lucky? Only when the stakes are high. And, in this metaphor, we're playing poker. And the state's dealer? If only. No, the state's more like... the house. You mean like the house always wins? Yes. They're very good at it. Winning, I mean. That's why they're up there and why we're down here. That's why they're the house. So what do? We play the cards we're dealt as best as we can, win more hands than we lose. Keep it up and eventually someone will come over and tap the dealer on the shoulder, whisper something in their ear, and then we'll be politely asked to leave. That doesn't sound very triumphant. The house always wins. So our definition of victory is more like, don't lose. Thanks, Morgan. But I guess I was more asking, like, what should I say? Just leave all the talking to me. So that's the strategy. What's up? You know there's a saying about gamblers with strategies? Yo, ready to confess yet? Because I already woke up the DA. Already, she must be new. The district attorney's the final say on whether or not a case is brought to trial. Only fair, since they're the ones who end up having to actually prove the damn thing. Most of them prefer simple guilty pleas over long, protracted trials. And they all dislike having their time wasted. Unfortunately, then you're gonna have to call them back. Because my client is not guilty. And frankly, I'm not even sure you have enough to hold him here. Right! What she said. Thanks, Carlos. You got a weird sense of humor, counselor. Different generations, I guess. Before my time kind of thing. I'm very serious when it comes to defending a man's innocence, detective. Yeah, 6 people died. Counselor, we have your client's written confession. His written confession. Let's start there. Okay, well, we'll be happy to. The thrust of every argument starts with the facts, what's already known and agreed upon. Public knowledge for every player at the table. It's pretty simple, Counselor. Real paint-by-numbers stuff. See, we found a note in his apartment, with its fingerprints on it. Apologizing for how he hurt them, all so bad. How are you planning on spinning that? Those are the facts, but I've been building up my hand all night, and I've got the weapons to answer everything they try throwing at me. Well, my client did write that note, and it was an apology, but not for murder. He was apologizing for her. Analyze the factors laid out, and well, yeah. Let's select the card that best answers the argument and place it in the slot on the right. You can mouse over your opponent's portrait for a reminder on what key points you're answering. You wrote a confession, but it's for the ceramic crap. You're simply apologizing for this. The hell is that? Beginner's luck, win your first hand. Nice. I find myself asking that exact same question. What are we looking at here? Something from the crime scene? This diagram of the room. It's created from data you captured, right? Pure, non-GMO, augmented reality crime scene data, yeah. What's non-GMO? Not much these days. Notice anything out of place? Yeah, the whole room's full of busted shit. It's the scene of a murder. Full of busted shit, for sure, but I was more referring to the unidentified ceramic debris found on the western side of the room. The hell is that? Ceramic debris, huh? Must be from the vase that got tossed. Actually, that's not possible. Oh? Because that vase wasn't damaged. It's not possible for that debris to have come from the vase, because that vase is still pristine. How is that possible? The lady at the garage sale told me it was old and delicate. Damn it, the one time I tried thrift shop on my own. Well, so what? What does it even matter? If the vase didn't have a scratch on it, then the debris must have come from somewhere else. That debris is what my client wrote that apology over. You're saying that confession was his apology for not vacuuming? I am, because that pile of rubble is all that remains of the victim's collection of fidget tubbies. What he said. I'm glad that the fidget tubbies have like a theme song. Mr. Flapp broke the victim's ceramic figures by accident, and this impassioned note to self was just his attempt at scripting out an apology. Can you prove that? We're taking this seriously? As much as I wish we weren't. We're all in agreement that my client wrote that note, and we can all clearly see that the ceramic debris at the crime scene, now since it couldn't have come from that vase, it must have come from the collectibles. Simple, right? The hell are you on about? The entire room was trashed, as the arcs clearly shows. Those fidget tubbies must have gotten pulverized during the struggle too. You really gonna claim we sat down to write an apology for breaking her toys after gunning her down? Not a bad train of thought, but I can do better. No, those collectibles were destroyed much earlier than that, and there's proof. I think it's gotta be the arm, right? It's gotta be the arm, because he didn't have the arm on the day, but the arm is what broke it. Let's take a closer look at the rental you took into custody. Huh? One swipe of your fingers should show exactly how devastating it was to Fickle Buddy sorry. One swipe of your fingers should show exactly how devastating it was to the Fickle Buddy ecosystem. It's fidget tubbies. Whatever. You did take it into custody. I'm sure your text found ceramic debris on it, yeah? Now that you mention it. Fine, whatever. He broke him with his arm while he was killing her. Happy? Overjoyed because even a cheap arm's got an operating system that logged the last time it was worn, right? Right. See, I happened to spot a footnote on the lab report. Said that the rental hadn't been used since the AM. Whose side are you on, old man? It's gotten pretty late, sunshine. Just trying to save us all the time where I can. Well, thank you for your service. Well, thank you for your service. Are you seriously buying this crap? Just look how scrawled, how panicked that note is. You expect me to believe he was upset over a fidget tubby collection? One that hasn't even been graded? Setting aside Detective Ray's surprising depth of knowledge when it comes to collectibles. You're correct. They held no real monetary value. It would be odd for Carlos to be so shaken over their loss. But so what? So what? After all, that's not panic you're seeing on that page. No, the only reason that note looks the way it does is because Carlos is right-handed. Yes, I am. Did they not know that? Shouldn't that be on my permanent record or something? So the reason that note looks like an asylum wall scribbles is because he had to use his left hand to write it. I did to think better writing than typing. I needed to get used to writing with my left anyway. I just thought it could be good practice. Taking that into account alongside the ceramics, your slam dunk confession is looking about as watertight as a fishnet. Okay, fine. Forget about the confession. Congratulations, counselor. You've established that your client's remorseless. Now let's get back to the reality of the situation. Here are the facts. We found your client at the scene of the crime, wearing a coat covered in the victim's blood, right next to a big old goddamn gun that just so happened to have his fingerprints on it. That's right, that coat is... What, you're gonna claim it's not his? That he actually wears an extra small? You're trying to bait me, in her typical low-key fashion. As the argument's slow, you won't always have the stronger hand. Sometimes the best you can do is hold your tongue and avoid overcommitting. Try to lose as little credit as possible while you wait for a more favorable chance. She must have something. No sense playing it away. Something you'd like to ask me, detective? I'm just curious. What'll it be next? You gonna tell me he actually wears an extra small? Okay, well, I can only stay. Gee, Carlos, do you? No. Yeah? Sure there's no evil twin you've forgotten to mention? There. No, I'm afraid not. I'm not even gonna go for a mysterious third party at the scene of the crime. To prove his innocence, I will need to get there eventually. We're going there now without hard evidence. I can't prove a third party. I have no evidence of a third person at this time. Damn right you don't. It's clear as day in the arcs. No evidence of anyone but Carlos being there that night. So keep dreaming. It was obvious she had something there I wasn't gonna win. It was obvious she had something there. I wasn't gonna win that hand either way. But at least I didn't overstep and take any more damage than I had to. We're not contesting any of that, detective. My client freely admits to holding that gun. He picked it up in confusion after coming home to find a brutal crime scene, which was not smart. Hey, but not illegal either. And that's all? He had her blood all over his clothes. Yes, he did. Right. Do you have those clothes on hand, by the way? The lab finished with them a while ago. What are you getting at? It'll be easier to just show you. Would you mind getting them for me? You know what? Sure, I could use the fresh air. Sink some bullshit in here anyway. Anyway, I thought the room smelled like... Morgan, what are you doing? My coat's covered in her blood, I remember that much. So doesn't that, like, make me look really bad? Just relax, Carlos. I'm pretty sure that's impossible. You're innocent. And that means that having more evidence will always help you, not hurt you. Really? Really. Not really. Plenty of innocent people in prison. People with bad luck. Or bad lawyers. People shouldn't count on the truth to come out easy. More often than not, it takes coaxing. What was it that reminded me of? Alright, here it is. One bloodstained jacket fresh from the lab. So what's your angle? You gonna tell us this is actually just hot sauce? No. That would be silly. She actually thought it over. So what the hell's your point? Hey. Sorry, just got thrown out by the turn of good fortune. What good fortune? You should thank the detective for bringing you your jacket, Carlos. She's just proving your innocence. My client was arrested after wearing this coat. He would have been wearing it at the time of the murder. It has the victim's blood on it, who we know died when she was shot in the heart. by a gun that happens to be an old, worn, pre-tagging firearm. And so this proves he couldn't have been the shooter. Is there a gas leak in here? In what world does that make any sense? Because he went outside, maybe? And he would have had his coat on from going outside? Sense happens to be key here. I need to draw their attention on what they can. Let's look over the coat and evidence. The coat the suspect was wearing when taken into custody back from Allison, put on the sleeve. All the details. Shit. Maybe the smell, because the smell was pointed out by the detective, so, we're gonna go with smell. Because it would probably smell, because oh yeah, he said the air wasn't clean when he went outside, so it would still smell of the, whatever was outside. Just do me one favor, detective. Tell me what you smell. I don't smell anything except dried blood. Exactly. Oh, it doesn't smell like gunpowder. Exactly. The coat smells like blood, but it doesn't smell like cigarette. That's what I've been smelling. Yes, Detective London, I was smoking earlier. Could you rejoin the conversation? I've been listening. You wanted me to smell the jacket? If you would. Let's see. Huh. No gunpowder. Well, what? What about gunpowder? Oh, don't blame yourself for not noticing. This was before your time. You can't be more than a few years older than me. But not before your partners, it seems. See, gunpowder is weak by today's standards, but it's still volatile stuff, hard to store, prone to misfiring, and when it goes bang, it leaves behind an awful lot of evidence. Residue, yeah. The hell is she talking about, London? Modern firearms like the ones we carry use electricity, magnetism, even air pressure or sound waves. They got more accuracy, more firepower, less recoil, less noise, and they don't leave behind any residue. Gunpowder residue. You talk my ear off about how difficult it is tracking down a gun that doesn't have digital traces. But a revolver like this one, it'd leave gunpowder on the skin of whoever fired it for days. So then this coat. If you don't trust your noses, you can check the lab reports. I think if they found any gunpowder on my client or his clothes, they'd have taken the time to highlight it. Well, whatever. That just means he washed it off after shooting her, or he changed his clothes. That's not impossible, but it would be pretty pointless. Huh? His jacket and his left hand were blood-soaked when you officers found him. Would he really go through all the effort to get rid of something as subtle as gunpowder residue? Just to get the victim's blood all over himself afterwards? Just let the guy go at this point, man. Like, come on. In light of these details, I'd like to formally request that you reconsider the charges Mr. Flatt is facing. As soon as possible. Oh, they're faltering now. Should topple over at any moment. The letter was mostly icing on the cake for them. That gun is all they had to link Carlos to any of the shootings. Unless they have decisive evidence here and now, which would be predictable for Ace Attorney, so I'm expecting some major shakeup. So it looks like he never actually fired the gun. I'll admit I'll admit things were a little dicey there at times, but once I was able to get the grasp of the situation, the smaller pieces fell into place easily enough. Not my cleanest work by far, but overall I'd say. Did she get a message? Yeah, here it is, decisive evidence. Sorry, just... I apologize for this, but there's a little worm in my brain pointing to her eyes. One is pink, one is yellow. Ha 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 ha, you get it? Oh, I'm terrible. I'm sorry, I'm cutting that from the video. I'm killing myself. Wait, did they actually manage to find it? Something you'd like to share, Detective Reyes? You're good. Twisting the truth in the knots. Making the facts work for you. Thanks. But your luck just ran out, because the net scrubbers found a cam active at the exact moment of the shooting. And right now, I'm staring at a photo of the killer. Yep, decisive evidence. Wanna bet? Photo of the shooter. If she's had that, we wouldn't still be talking. But I doubt she's just pulling this out of her ass. She's got something from the scrubbers. Yeah, I don't believe... I think she's bluffing. That's a bold bluff for this late in the game, Detective. Especially when we both know there was an optics blackout during the shooting. Well, that's just it. This isn't from optics. Uh-oh. Shit. Should figure she wouldn't make a claim that bold without something to back it up. Ah! Hold on. I don't want to save Scum, but she must be... Yeah, she's got something, but I figured she was bluffing about it being an actual photo with a killer. That's what I thought this meant. Alright, well, I'm gonna commit to the choice. I should have figured she wouldn't make a claim that bold without something to back it up. Party's over, counselor. Feast your eyes on this. Well, okay, the quality is lacking. And yet, there it is. They managed to find a quarter needle of evidence in the whole city block of haystacks. What are the goddamn chances? No, with the scale their tools operate on, I guess the chances are, as always, in their favor. Alright, this isn't good, but it's a far cry from the worst case scenario I envisioned. Maybe even say I got lucky, which means the stakes are... Well, it's a little bit... blurry. Don't look at me, I didn't take the damn thing. Technically, no one took it. Looks like at the time of the shooting, a neighbor was on their phone. Probably venting about how crazy the couple of... Oh, sorry, wrong voice. Probably venting about how crazy the couple across the way was acting. But if their phone was on, its camera would be on. And so we managed to get this shot through the window. Where to begin? Far away, unfocused, ultra-low resolution, zoomed in, blurry, color shifted, and so compressed it looks like it's from another century. There are tools that could enhance this image any further, and I could count the pixels on one hand. And you could kiss its admissibility in court goodbye. You can't honestly claim that you can identify my client from this image, and there's no way in hell you could get this past a judge. Yeah, you're probably right, we couldn't. But I think I know a DA that could. Either way, it doesn't seem like the client's leaving this police station anytime soon. That photo. What the hell is happening to me? Think I know a DA that could? Don't be so modest, old man. We have photo evidence of a left-handed shooter standing in the hallway at the same time. The whole neighborhood heard a gunshot. Left-handed shooter. Left-handed shooter. Again, he couldn't have hit that left-handed. And who do we know that had their left hand fingerprints all over that gun? You're referring to my client. You think? We've established he wasn't wearing his modded arm at all tonight, so he must have shot with his left. Yes, we've also established that he's weak with his left side. A left side that had no gunpowder whatsoever. Forensics will never be perfect, counselor. Sometimes we miss things. Sometimes you take a walk through the rain, and when you finally get to where you were going, you somehow end up dry. But that doesn't mean it didn't rain. All which is to say, before judge or jury, photographic evidence outweighs a failed sniff test. Carlos is innocent. I know he is. But that photo shows a left-handed shooter. Carlos is innocent. That photo was real. If both were true, then that means that photo doesn't show what it appears to show. So, at a loss for words? Never. I'm just confused about one thing. Where was this photo taken from exactly? Exactly? Positional data is usually only accurate to the nearest public router. If we DM on the phone's owner and ask them where, why bother with any of that? Ballistics and common sense tell us the perp shot from the room's doorway. The front entrance of the apartment faces to the south. It's a hallway that runs to the bedroom. We're looking straight at the shooter, so it's pretty obvious this was taken from across the north window. From the north? If this is from the north, then why can we clearly see the... Let me get a look at the room again. Why can't we see the mirror? Yeah, the mirror would be in the way, right? Because it was still standing. The photograph shows someone in a doorway. That's true. But that can't be the right doorway. It's not that complicated. The neighbor who got the shot must live on the other side of the street. So we're looking into the bedroom of the north window. If she's wrong, I should seize the opportunity to start turning the tide. It was not taken from the north. I don't buy it. I'm afraid that's simply not possible, detective. This photo has to have been taken from the west. What kind of bluff is that supposed to be? The good detectives are misinformed here, and I need to take advantage of it. Time to press the initiative. Now, do you mean this was taken from the west? The autopsy tells us the victim was shot from the doorway. Your officer's Eric's tells us the precise location of everything in the room at the time they arrived. And now your photo has shown us the exact moment of the shooting. And you can now raise the ante on a hand up to the correct max. Answer wrong and you lose more credit, but answer correctly. I forgot what that said. What did that say? And you can bank up more credit for tricking your hands on the line. Yeah, this is definitely a point where I raise, because, like... And altogether... Hold on, what was the last line? And altogether, that tells us this photo must have been taken through the west window. As long as you consider... Mirror was upright. Yeah. How do I raise? Yeah. That's looking good. The mirror was still upright. Just take one look at the clock in that photo. The clock? What about it? The clock, huh? Seems like London's got an idea. If he's mistaken, I could pounce on it to keep my tempo high. This photo was taken right before the shooting, so... Wait, don't tell me the time of death is wrong. Aww. I don't think the time of death is wrong. I think he's setting me up. Raise. That's a good question, Detective London. The answer is no. The autopsy, the clock, and the neighbors all agree. The time of death was 9 p.m. Right, no mistaking that. So then what the hell were you on about? There's a clock on the wall in this photo. Analog style. And it reads 9 o'clock. 9 p.m., the time of the shooting. The hell is so special about that? Nothing. There's nothing odd about the time the clock reads, but do you remember there being a clock in the room? What? Actually, I don't recall there being a clock. That makes sense. You wouldn't recall seeing a clock, because when the police secured the scene, the clock had already been knocked onto the floor. And the only clock in that room is in the northeastern corner. And my client has informed me that before the crime, it was hung up on the eastern wall. Like so. What the hell is that supposed to be? An artistic rendition. It's, very distinct. If you had information on how the crime scene was before the shooting, why didn't you just add that to the arcs? And show you my hand? Just because discovery law compels us to share info, doesn't mean we have to play fair, detective. Slipped my mind. I'll do that now. The important thing is, if that clock was on the eastern wall before the shooting occurred, then this photo must be looking through the western window to see it. Don't start getting ahead of yourself. The victim was shot at 9 p.m., the same time that this photo was taken to the shooter. But you want to claim that the clock's still on the eastern wall when it would have been knocked down during the fighting. You got your logic backwards, detective. Your precious photo shows that the room was pristine at the time of the shooting. There's one other piece of evidence that proves exactly how the carrots fell. I'm raising again because I'm confident in these shards. Because remember, they fell onto the body. Glass shards, what about them? Nothing much, really. Only that they're on top of the victim's body. Yep, I knew I was onto something. And not under it. If the glass fell on top of the victim's body, that would mean that she was dead on the ground before the room got trashed. But that doesn't make any sense. Why would anyone trash the room afterwards? It's a good question, Carlos. Luckily, it's the detectives who have to delve into the minds of the criminally insane, not us. Tell me, detectives, were there any signs of a struggle at the other crime scenes? Oh, other crime scenes? No, nothing like that. Those attacks would have been over in a matter of seconds. So what did you think when you saw the mess in the bedroom? That this was personal, that things had gotten complicated. Shit happens. Shit does happen, detective, but in this case, it seems it's been a general misconception about the order in which shit happened. So what if the room didn't get tossed over until afterwards? He still shot her. And we have a photo right here. I'm glad you do, detective, because that photo proves my client's innocence. Huh? Proving that it wasn't my client who pulled the trigger is difficult. And maybe more importantly for all of us, time-consuming. Thanks to your photo, I can instead prove that it couldn't have been my client who pulled the trigger, because the man in that photo can't possibly be Carlos. Like hell it can! The glass shards prove that the room was pristine at the time of the shooting. And we know that up until the room was tossed, the clock was on the eastern wall, which means that this photo of the shooter was taken from the west. Back to this shit, that's impossible. The only hallway in that apartment runs from north to south. The only person with prints on that gun is your client. And the only fact that matters is that he used it to murder 6 innocent people. You're a very honest person, detective. Excuse me? That's why you're such a shitty gambler. You played your cards too early, and now I can steal the pot right out from underneath you. You're right about the hallway's orientation. You're right about the prints. And this HK figure has claimed 6 lives. We aren't looking at the hallway in that photo. What? What we're seeing is... It can only be the mirror. What is that? You're trying the glass shards again? Sort of. By the way, do you recall where those glass shards came from? Yeah, sure. They came from a standing mirror. A mirror that at the time of the shooting stood across the room from the western window. But then, that would mean... At that angle, from that viewpoint, would reflect the hallway. So we're not seeing a shooter with a gun in their left hand. We're seeing a killer take aim with their right arm. And as we all know, my client hasn't had a working right arm in a number of weeks. And he hasn't worn his rental since this morning. So I meant what I said about that photo. I'm glad it was recovered, because it just proved my client couldn't have possibly committed this crime. That should be the end of it. Except it looks like Detective Reyes really is a novice gambler. Sunk cost has got its teeth in her now, clawing off her spine, whispering wounded pride in her ear. It's a cold sweat, hot palms, kind of fever. The impotent and irrational fury of losing something you thought was guaranteed yours. But lucky for you, Detective, I'm well versed in shock therapy. You look dissatisfied, Detective Reyes. That's one word for it. Then allow me to put a nice bow on everything for you. In summary, my client's so-called confession was just a note to self. The police found him in shock, reeling at the death of his girlfriend, and arrested him for being next to a gun he forensically couldn't have fired. After being confronted with these facts, he received photographic evidence of the exact moment of the shooting, and instead of utilizing said photo to track down the real killer, you tried to claim it depicted my client, a man without the requisite limb, standing in an architecturally impossible hallway. That's... He could have had a backup arm. He could have stolen one. A little stubbornness can be charming, but this kind of desperation is ugly. It's getting late. Time to bare my fangs. A bit. Oh, it's so sauceful. That's the best you've got? Even a bare-bones prosthetic arm off the black market needs to be attuned to an individual's nervous system. He'd have to bring it to a clinic, which would have left a record on his shoulder, OS. A record you won't find. And he'd still have to somehow have gotten rid of it before the police arrived. SOP at the scene of a violent crime calls for a full-spectrum scanning of the entire building and 100 meters around it, minimum. So where, Detective Reyes, did he manage to hide a cybernetic arm from your drones in the time between the shooting and his arrest? Gotcha. Well. Any objections? Detective? God damn it! Bold, yeah, baby! Case fucking closed. We still don't have Heartbreak, though. Show me your hand, Flat. You're uncuffing me? Yes! In light of the evidence, we have no reason to hold you. Now I gotta go call the DA and tell her I made a mistake. Not we made a mistake, huh? Listen, kid, you should know. Detective? Lost my train of thought. But hey, your attorney's a real tiger, and she just fought like hell for you. Make sure you thank her properly. Public defense doesn't pay that well. Yeah, that's kind of you to say, Detective, but my work is its own reward. Sure. I feel exactly the same way, Counselor. What? What happens now? I'll have to speak with the DA about the dismissal. And there's still some paperwork we'll need to go through. But basically, you're free to go. Congrats! You get to leave the casino with your kneecaps intact. Yeah. Yay! But what am I supposed to do? The detectives will continue their investigation. Their investigation into Heartbreak, huh? Yes. When the authorities are satisfied with their examination of the body, she'll be handed over to the next of kin. And then you can make funeral arrangements. No, that's not what I... Diane being gone is bad enough. But a serial killer. It's like she died of the flu. It doesn't happen anymore. People die of the flu all the time, but... I know what you mean. I can't make sense of it. So what am I supposed to do? Hell if I know. There's some context I could give you. Services, professionals, doctors. No, you've done more than enough for me. When you got here, I was too tired to even defend myself, to try and convince them that I didn't. You saved me. Thank you. You're welcome, Carlos, but it's my job to... No, I mean, Thank you for not asking. For not asking if I killed her. Oh, Carlos. I didn't need to ask. I knew you were innocent from the start. Of course he was. After all. Oh, shit! Are you serious? What the fuck? We... Morgan's the heartbreak killer. We're playing as the... Oh, that's interesting. We're playing as the culprit. God, that's interesting. Oh, that's really unique. That's really, 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 really unique. I love that. Oh man, I didn't even... I I knew this game had some kind of twist early on. I didn't expect this. Oh, I gotta... Man, okay, okay. The blood's always different. Heart's always in the same place. Easy to find, hard to miss. But the blood's always different. A flowering stain unfurling towards an invisible sun. A perfectly unique bloom, only one for each of us. A Rorschach test with singular universal meaning. Vitality at its climax. Bursting forth into a red fractal consisting solely of infinite the end. But the comical thud of a body hitting the floor is its own kind of lowbrow appeal. Jeez. I feel so fucking bad for What the fuck, man? Free my man. I know he's free, but like... Carlos, buddy. Bro, imagine your fucking girlfriend gets shot and killed because you stepped out for like 5 seconds. Right? You're accused of murder. Nobody believes you. Finally, this godsend of an attorney comes by and gets your ass cleared. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh, actually, by the way, I did it. If he finds out about this, he's gonna kill himself. Oh, this is the apartment. This is it. Well, number 6 is 6. The gun's empty. It's useless to me now. May as well leave it. Feels like a waste, but whatever. Finding the ammo was almost enough of a hassle to outweigh the advantages. I could sell an untagged gun for a fair bit of cash. Well, cash can't buy you peace of mind. Oh, don't look so surprised, lady. Moping around in the dark here. I must have only been... You must have only been able to see my silhouette. Did you think I was her boyfriend back for an encore of that enthralling conversation? Can't ask her now. Hey! Yeah, did you hear that? These old pieces are so goddamn loud. People aren't even familiar enough with the sound anymore to know to run the other way. Probably roused half the neighborhood. But I didn't see anything I could use even a partial suppressor on the way in. Could they really not afford some throw pillows? I used the other 5 bullets in outdoor spaces, in small spheres of blind opportunity that the city's eyes couldn't think to pierce. Cramped places, usually full of trash, but this room, as cheap as it looks, is at least clean, organized even. So the corpse adds a certain satisfying contrast. Except the shit on the floor. By the window, there are broken pieces of something fragile and tacky. It's fine. It's just one thing out of place. Actually, it's not fine. It's actually really irritating. I kick over this stupid goddamn mirror. 5 perfect crime scenes, each of them not a speck of evidence, nothing to go on. And for the final shot, there just has to be some pile of shit in the corner to ruin everything. I kick the wall. Something falls from it. Probably some more tasteless bullshit. I toss over the chair, knock the urn, tear into the sheets with my frustration, and try to save it the shredding. If I can't be clean, I'll just have to lean into the messy angle. At least it will be consistent. Jesus, Morgan. This is all so stupid. Honestly, I'm not the ego-driven type. In fact, I pride myself on my humility. Now, was it satisfying when the first 3 went down with single shots? Yes. But so what? I'm not made of stone. After all, I did start to actively aim for the heart, but... Ugh. Heartbreak killer? Really? Don't people have anything better to do with their time? What kind of miserable, lifeless warriors would obsess over someone that's none of their business? All of the threads and breakdowns and the goddamn theory crafting, and all for the heartbreak killer. Sounds like a soap opera villain from a season where the writers were on strike. I feel insulted by the label, but no, that's someone else's name. They came up with it. They spread it. They marketed it. Heartbreak's got nothing to do with me. Very interesting. He's just some reclusive, lonely, socially impotent loser who shot 6 people because... Well, I'm sure people will come up with something. But he got rejected one too many times, or whatever. Me, I killed those people because I saw them and I wanted to. Well, I've killed a lot more than just 6. At least the room is thoroughly trashed now. If I just walked away after seeing that mess by the window, it would have irritated me to no end. Now that it doesn't matter the MO of the last 5 perfectly. And now that it doesn't matter now that it doesn't match the MO of the last 5 perfectly, it'll irritate the cops to no end instead. Good riddance, Heartbreak. You enjoy your 15 minutes in the spotlight. Really savor it. I'm going home. The air is weighty tonight. Thick. Energized. A heavily foreshadowed summer rain I can feel in every hair. I call this kind of humidity oppressive, but I disagree. The warm tension on your skin, like in those short moments just after the shower turns off when the steam lingers. Yeah, it's always most comfortable right afterwards. Maybe there's no disagreement to be had. Oppressive things can be comforting too. Only the guilty ones run. I don't know about that, but I know I've never felt guilty about any of this, and I walk. Oh my god. 5:01 a.m. Sorry, using my left is still. That's okay. You can just initial those in those spots. I took a scenic route home, courtesy of our fine city's sprawling public transportation, and got in a bit after 11 p.m. Had myself a thorough shower, drank a glass of milk, did some stretching, made sure my phone was on. Time went by evenly. Around 1:40 a.m., posting for a public defender work came up. Decent rate, since it was so late and so urgent. I had wagered correctly that the boyfriend would have enough sense to ask for a lawyer, and enough debt he'd need to be provided one. All I had to do was stay awake. There wasn't much competition after 1 in the morning. Okay, where else? Here and here. How did I phrase it earlier? Criminal defense attorneys aren't exactly flush with customers. Why wouldn't I take on a job where I already knew more than the cops? It would have been easy to convince Carlos to plead out. I would have gotten paid the same too. But easy is dangerous. Carlos was, of course, innocent, so his conviction would never be airtight. There would be doubts, questions, appeals, maybe even fans, depending on his looks. More attention on HK and his crimes. More headaches. A cold case rotting in the very far back of the public's awareness is always preferable to one open and shut in haste. Now, with no more murders matching HK's MO, there won't be any additional public pressure to find a culprit. Now Heartbreak can just starve to death, out of sight and mind, like any other fluke in the system. Almost done. Oh, man, jeez. So what? Morgan's just killing people to open up spots for people to defend? She's basically just creating her own career, in a sense. Though no, that can't be right. She's too careful for that. Because it would be suspicious if she was on the case of every single Heartbreak victim. And also, this was her first time talking to those cops who were on the Heartbreak case. So why is she killing these people? It's not just to create cases for her to solve. Getting along with the case this intimately does have its risk. Hell, I might have even overdone things here or there. Like lighting up a smoke inside an interrogation room, just to make doubly sure I didn't smell gunpowder myself. Clever. Oh, shit! That's what he was picking up on. That's what the detective was picking up on. Fucking, what's his name? London. He was picking up on his smell, right? And he couldn't place it. So Morgan lit up the cigarette. So it didn't jump out to him as gunpowder. It jumped out to him as smoke. Okay. Okay, I see you. I see you. Very fucking smart. I like it. That London fellow seemed more fixated on it than I would have liked. But obviously everything turned out rosy. And it's worth it for the finality of it all. Seeing the authorities' failings from the best seat in the house, that's just a bonus. Thanks again, Morgan, for everything. I'm sure Diane is grateful too. Oh, don't say that. I hope she was, like, at least guilty of something. I hope there was, like, at least a reason for her to die. Like, I hope, like, 2 cases down the line, like, I hope it's, like, a fucking, like, a grade Ace Attorney situation. Of, like, we get to, like, the final case of the game. And it's like, actually, she was super Hitler. Actually, she, like, beat up orphans in the street and stole their money. And was selling government secrets. And actually, she was a horrible person. You shouldn't feel bad that she died. I hope, because otherwise, like... Oh, Morgan. Funny, I didn't even know her name. Jesus. Something the matter? No, sorry, it's just... I was mad when I left the apartment. I know she was too, so when she died... Death was instantaneous, Carlos. I can't imagine she was in any pain. In fact, I can guarantee she was dead before she hit the ground. No, I know, but I just keep thinking that she must have died angry at me. She must have died hating me. Oh, the heart medicine. She was clutching your heart medicine. To tell you the truth, Carlos, it's something I've been wondering about myself. Oh, what is it? Something I noticed in the ARC's data that I didn't quite understand. A piece of the puzzle I couldn't fit in anywhere else. Maybe you can make sense of it. The pills. What is the... Well, where did you find that? That pill organizer was found in the victim. She had it grasped in her hand when she died. Obviously, the police added it to the ARCs, but it was quickly ruled irrelevant. Seemed like it contained treprexosome, prescribed to help modernists with phantom itches. They're small tablets, and those are tricky clasps, too, for a pill organizer. Could be hard to handle with an unsteady hand. No one will ever know what she was feeling when she died. Even if they did, feelings are complicated. You can feel angry, happy, and sad all at the same time. But as far as facts are concerned, it would appear that when she died, what she was doing was setting out your medications for the week. Oh no! That's so fucking sad. Oh, dude. This is so fucked, man. This is so fucked. I don't feel right about this. Like, I like it though. I really like it. This is good. This is juicy. To my eyes, anyway. "501. Long night. I was too far just now, practically rubbing it in his face. It's not like I care about his feelings. I doubt I'll ever see him again. But overstepping like that is pure hubris, and hubris invites a downfall. So why did I even bother? It was the last piece of the puzzle, I suppose. I'll attempt to show more restraint next time. Though there won't be a next time for heartbreak. The gun's in custody, there's no more bullets left. There won't be a seventh victim, there won't be any more leads to pursue. The media will move on to their next obsession. I'll move on to my next MO. And no one will ever found you. District Attorney Rockford. Hello, you're an intimidating presence. Never mind, you're a total loser. Sorry, can I try that again? I'm so fried. By all means. Ugh, Counselor Morgan. Morning or noon or night, you're always so put together. Thank you. I don't get it. How do you sleep at night? Pardon? You do white noise, aromatherapy? Whatever you're doing, I need to steal it. God. I must have bags under my eyes dark enough for the dumpsters. Assistant District Attorney Emma Rockford. She's a prosecutor, the lawyer who argues for the state in court, trying to prove a defendant's guilty. And despite her sometimes unkempt appearance, she's probably the sharpest person to fill the position in decades. I should know, since I haven't beaten her once. Worse yet, she has the remarkable ability to compartmentalize all that adversarial energy and only bring it out in the courtroom. Part of what makes her good at her job. And hard for me to read. Should I buy a new mattress? What have got you doing what have they got you doing at this ungodly hour, Emma? Oh well. Actually, I'm here for you. Me? Your client was a suspect in the Heartbreak killings. That's my case. Well, then you must have been relieved finding out that you won't have to go to trial against me. No? Why would I be worried about going up against you? It's always the unintended barbs with her. So, you're working with those detectives? Yeah, London and the new girl. Rays? They've been reporting to me in preparation for the trial. Preparation for the trial? That seems ambitious. I guess they gave you the rundown. They've been doing everything they can, but it's hard to catch a killer who leaves behind so little. It's hard to kill while leaving so little behind. So Ray's told you they had HK in custody and you popped out of bed all excited to run down here? Haha, hardly. I haven't slept in 40 hours. Too much on my mind. So when I heard about a case with a single female victim shot through the heart, yeah, my ears perked up. But that's about all. Oh. I mean, Carlos Flat, a serial killer? The same serial killer that's outside of the state for weeks? She's not using his middle name. He was found with the murder weapon, but I can answer that any number of ways. It could have been Flat. I gotta be careful. I don't think I showed this, because this shows a right-handed shooter. I'm guessing she knows what fucking handedness I am. I can't reveal too much that I am Heartbreak. If I show the gunpowder, the smell... I think the rental hand is the best bet. That may be true, but then I glanced at the report. You glanced at it? No gunpowder residue on him or his clothes. Right. Too remorseful, too apologetic in that note. Whatever it was about his dominant armada with documented sensitivity issues, never could have made that shots that clean. Not without getting close enough to leave scorch marks. Not to mention, he's too tall for the ballistics entry angles. And probably too heavy not to leave imprints. She got all that from a glance? Yeah, she's good. Fucking, like, okay, Miles Edgeworth, like, oh, going up against you in court is going to be interesting. I'm gonna beat your perfect record, though. But I'm sure a competent lawyer like yourself pointed all that out the minute you walked in there. Of course. Worst part, she's not even being sarcastic. Yeah, of course, it couldn't have been him. Long-term relation, physically imposing, argumentative, so not the type to bottle things up. He didn't match the profile. Profile? Yeah, Right, sorry, you probably never heard of it. I know what a goddamn profile is. A profile is the reconstruction of the criminal psychology based on evidence from their crimes. Kind of fallen out of fashion for the last few decades. Let's actually check that. I want to check Heartbreak's, profile, see if it matches up. Heartbreak. Oof. I was hoping to see, you know, the profile they had. I guess it gives some new information on Morgan. She likes high places, gambling, and guns. She dislikes nosy people, mud, and headphones. Hobby batting cages. Favorite dish, mapo tofu, and cannot carry a tune. Okay. Not much needs to guess about the why when 99 times out of 100 the who is caught on camera. Or before they even leave the house. I've had to find some real fossils and oddballs to get advice on how to go about it. But I think I'm getting the hang of it. Well, profiling or about Heartbreak's MO? Could be good to find info about Heartbreak, but let's find out about profiling first. What is profiling? It's some kind of investigative technique? The theory is that a crime scene can tell you something about the nature of the person who committed it. Stabbing, overkill, points to passion, rage, lust. They probably knew their victim. Poisoning guns meanwhile suggest they can't overpower their victims physically. And then there's the things you can assume about nearly all serial offenders. Childhood trauma, prior criminal record, fewer no meaningful attachments. There's a lot of recurring themes in their stories. The detectives say HK doesn't leave evidence. So how much can his crimes possibly tell you? That he's diligent, almost perfect, highly intelligent, painstakingly organized, and with enough criminal connections to get his hands on an untagged firearm. It's rare to see her this animated outside the courtroom. It's almost like she's enjoying herself. A sheltered house cat who's picked up the scent of a mouse for the first time. A lone wolf, educated, but all her playfully lethal instincts come to life. Probably overqualified or undervalued. Though I'm not thrilled about the fact that in that metaphor I would be the... Know what I mean? Definitely! And considering the marksmanship, the detective said that HK would have needed insider information on optics. So does that mean Heartbreak's in law enforcement? Never in a billion years. Oh. And a social independent, despises authority. That'd be like a stallion applying for a job on a merry-go-round. They'd be kicking kids' heads in after the first full rotation. Right, that's exactly how I'd put it. There must be some connection to the police, though. Maybe secondary or tertiary. These types can't help but insert themselves. Insert themselves? I do not. I do not ins. I do not. I don't do anything even resembling that. Wait, if HK is not a cop, how do they know about the blackout timing? Crime meta statistics analysis, probably. Pardon? Take the emergency responses from time. Take the emergency response times from across the city and map them out. Look for brief spikes and delays. Chart out the dips in. Sorry, technical, I know. But all the requisite data is publicly available. With a map, a spreadsheet, a calculator, anyone can reverse engineer the timing if they wanted to. That is such an unpleasant thought, Emma. Heartbreaks Emma. Well, at least this heartbreak maniac will slow down now that he's lost his weapon. He didn't lose it. He chose to leave it behind. That tells me he's confident he can do just fine without it. And it just makes me even more certain that these aren't his only kills. Were there other shootings with the same MO? No, none that I've found. Other victims that fit the description? No. But I'm not overly focused on the victim's appearance anyway. I mean, these 6 victims all look like each other. But they also look like a lot of people. That's true. I kind of feel like I should give her a better voice. If she's gonna be like, she's really, really fucking intimidating as a prosecutor. She's quick. And she's unapologetically decisive. I need to give her a better voice so that when I'm facing her in court, it's not gonna sound stupid. It's true. Hell, they kind of look like me. Do they? Oh. Sure. What, you don't see it? I hadn't thought about it. Point is, no one can kill that cleanly when it's their first time. Getting things that perfect takes practice. So I know that HK must have had a lot more than 6 occasions of practice, Morgan. And that's why I think heartbreak is a misnomer. You've got something catchier in mind? I just don't think shooting them in the heart has any particular significance. If anything, it's a testament to their accuracy. And their cold-blooded efficiency. The best possible use is 6 untagged bullets. 6 kills guaranteed, no matter what kind of life support mods they were packing. Their real signature isn't the bullets of the gun. It's the perfection. That's hard to wrap your head around. I'm saying that these 6 murders were just a fluke, a slip-up, a mistake. Exactly, a mistake. They got too clean, too efficient, and now they got the public's attention. It's no wonder they're so pissed. Are you talking about the crime scene? Yeah, probably threw the detectives for a loop, right? Based on what you said, I don't blame them. Whoever trashed that room didn't seem like the smooth operator you've been describing. On the contrary. I don't follow. This was the last bullet, their last shot. The other 5 were perfect, so if anything was out of place this time around, they must have thrown one hell of a temper tantrum. She has me dead to rights, bro. I'm fucked. I'm fucked. She has me. Oh, I'm saying my prayers, bro. I see the inside of a prison cell flashing in my mind. Oh, brother. Morgan, I beg you, if you want to stay out of the inside of a cell, for the love of God, do not go to court for one of your own victims. Please. You make them sound like a child. Childish. And cowardly. And two-faced. Someone who hates to lose almost as much as they love to win. Your profile tells you all that? That? No. That part's just... takes one to know one. So to summarize, you're looking for a cold-blooded, faceless, perfectionist killer who you think has no persistent MO or victim type. In a city with an 8-digit population. Well, good luck. I don't need luck. I only need more information. Well, I'm sure the city would be happy to provide you with more resources. No, Morgan, I mean I need more crime scenes. Oh. Sad truth is, if Heartbreak walked away today, I'd never catch them. Only way my net narrows is if they keep piling up bodies. Not a very fair trade, is it? No, it isn't. But getting screwed over is a given. It's a deal with the devil. Fair enough. Oof. Okay, that was pretty morbid and detailed. I need to get out more. Or sleep more. Or sleep less but harder. You think a higher thread count would help? Don't worry about it. I'm always happy to listen to you ramble. It's a lot more pleasant than having to face you in the courtroom. Sorry, but that's the adversarial process. So no hard feelings, yeah? No hard feelings. We're both just doing what we do. Yeah, I definitely wasn't taking my anger out on people who looked like you because I fucking hate losing to you. I could use a cup of coffee. How about you? Don't tempt me. If you fall asleep place first on the table, I won't even take a picture. Okay. Don't expect this to make a difference next time we're at each other's throats. Heartbreak won't claim any more victims. In 2 weeks, the media will have moved on to the next sensation, and the police will have moved on to cases they actually stand a chance of closing. It's what people do. But Emma is different. She'll set it aside and work a dozen other cases, never bringing it up. But a private corner of that frustratingly sharp mind of hers will continue to whittle away at it. Never finishing, but never quitting either. So I can't afford to take my eyes off her. As long as that's the case, I may as well try to enjoy the view. Episode 0, end. Man, what a hook. Hmm? Android. Which means you're gonna be living with my friend for a while. For how long? I'm sorry, I don't know. There's no need to look that upset over it. My face barely moved. May as well have been a blatant pout from where I'm sitting. Yeah, like that. This friend of yours, they're trustworthy? Absolutely. In fact, I trust them more than anyone. Hey, come on, it'll be fun. Really? Really. Educational, too. I think you could stand to learn a lot from someone like Morgan. Oh, shit. Alright, let's get the credits. Art and art direction by Evil Little Bug. Programming by Patrick MCF. 3D modeling by AA Renders. Environments by Patrick MCF. AA Renders. Written, directed, developed by Brian Mulholland. Well, Mulholland, sorry. Volunteer playtesting by Griston, Hugh J, Maxi, Sadie Virtuous Vermin, S. Thumbbutt, Thomas Colamander, Wee, Xenons. Special thanks to Adrian. There's Insert Disc 5. Yeah, I played this game because I saw her talking a lot about it on her Twitter. And you know, I fucking love In Stars and Time, so any opinion on any video game by the developer of that is like gospel to me. So very happy I listened because God, this game was good. God, this game is good. At Alter LNX, Anna, Killjill VT, Motto, Men Monks. What thanks to Dev Talk, Philly Game Mechanics, Friends and Family, You the Players. Full attributions available at ofthedevil.card.co. Made with Unity, Nanny Novel, Dot Tween, Pro Builder, Shapes, Game by and Circle, Of the Devil, Episode 0, and He Shall Appear. To be continued in. You're the smartest person I know, Morgan, when it comes to people. Personally, I think it's cruel to bring something that flawed into the world. You're a criminal defense attorney, and we're at a crime scene. I think I can guess what happens next. I never stolen anything. I wasn't already compromised. Work hard and the company will have you set for life. And after, too. Can't tell you how many musicians I've seen screwed over by a big smile and a fat signing bonus. So it's not just a lawyer job thing? You dress like a doorman on the weekends, too? Compared to data mining fault, data mining cause of death is like breathing. It's like a breath of fresh air. The company wheels don't stop spinning for anything. We can't hope to keep this quiet for very long. But it's a million times more likely than the alternative. That Heartbreak could ever stop themselves from killing. Father said that you owed him. I didn't do anything out of the goodness of my heart. When I take a job, I never half-ass it. Of the Devil, Episode 1. An Idle Mind. Episode 0 results. 2 articles. 6 profiles, 18 key terms, 17 pieces of evidence, 35 total credit earned. Congratulations! You finished episode 0 with 35 credit. You've also unlocked concept art and bonus scenarios based on your highest score for episode 0. You also have a total of 35 remaining store credits spent on phone charms and case colors based on the highest credit with which you finished this episode. Oh, cool. Concept gallery. Ah. Concept art from Morgan. Style is very good. It's actually what kind of style they're experimenting with. Specifically, I don't know why these portraits on the side remind me. I don't know. They kind of remind me of Persona. Well, I took one glance at these kind of portraits at the side. I don't know why. Just the Adachi, fucking portrait just flashed in my mind for a brief moment. I don't know if that was intentional. That's actually very apt comparison. Actually, was Adachi an inspiration for any of this at all? Because you know, when you really think about it, yeah, that kind of lines up with Morgan a bit. Oh, that's cool though. There's the model sheet. Cool. I do love the designs. The designs are very good. London. Yeah, I do like the designs. He's wearing a short sleeved like turtleneck. What's wrong with you? Okay, never mind. Just fit is atrocious. Fit is atrocious. Short sleeved like turtleneck thing? Man, come on. I mean, the coat is nice. The coat is snazzy. I like the coat. Oh, different. We're experimenting with a couple different like styles here. How I have her look like. Very cool. I like Ray's. Interesting. This is just cool to see. Wow, this is what's his name? Carlos, yeah. Oh, were they planning to have him actually appear with his arm on, or was that like a sketch of what it would look like? Hmm. That reveal was crazy. Oh, this is a sketch for like what they thought a Heartbreak looked like. Heart fake killer. Android. I don't know. I don't know why, but she vaguely reminds me of Amo from Gachi Octa. It's kind of the eyes, really. The eyes. And the kind of hair. And I guess the big kind of jacket. Well, Amo doesn't really wear a jacket. I mean, she wears a jacket. Just it's the flowiness of it. Very much reminds me of Amo. There's a lot of concept art. Is this for just this episode, or is this like all of the concept art? Bonus scenarios. London interview, Ray's interview, Carlos interview, Morgan interview. I'm not gonna do those now. I'll do those at a different time. Because I've been recording for about nearly 3 hours now. Let's go to the main menu. Ooh. It's a nice background. That is everything for this video. I really, really like this game. I'm a sucker for Ace Attorney, and those kind of games, as you can imagine. It's just, I don't know what it is. It just speaks to me. But this is such a nice twist on the formula. I like how it's very clearly and very obviously inspired by Ace Attorney. Just in that, I think Ace Attorney was like probably the only game to really do this kind of thing. At least the first, you know, like only big like AAA game to do this. Is Ace Attorney AAA? I don't know. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like on principle is obviously inspired by Ace Attorney, but I love how different this is. You know, it's not trying to be Ace Attorney, and that's what I really appreciate it. It's not trying to be the same thing. It's not even trying to be similar, really. It's got its own unique aesthetic. It's got its own unique way of designing its characters, presenting its cases. Even just like the actual way you present evidence is very interesting, and I really like it. I like that it rewards you for taking information in the area around you. Because Ace Attorney will just write a whole lot of bullshit about anything. I mean, I like the bonus dialogue in Ace Attorney, but like, I like that this game, it puts in what's necessary for you to know, with a little added bonuses of world building, and it rewards you for seeking out those bonuses. I like that. I like that. It makes it feel like everything I read is worthwhile to some grand scheme. Like, even though, like, the stuff about, like, the flooded subways wasn't really too important, that feels good to know for the future, you know? And obviously just the base premise of the attorney being a killer. So interesting. I'm surprised Ace Attorney hasn't done that yet. Or actually, no, I'm not surprised, because Ace Attorney would never do that. It's not the style of Ace Attorney. But that's what I love about this stuff. That's what I'm saying. It's very different. This is something Ace Attorney would never do. This is such a unique experience that you can't get from any other game. It's outstanding. I love it. It's oozing with style, oozing with passion, oozing with sauce. You can tell everyone involved just has so much love for this game. And I'm only on episode 0. That was the prologue. We got 2 more episodes to go, baby. I'm really looking forward to seeing where this story takes us. I've heard nothing but good things. That was an insanely good cold open. Insanely good. Heartbreak was an excellent first fucking persona, I suppose, to open up with for Morgan. So I should probably start. I always do this. I always ramble so much at the end of the video when nobody fucking cares. But either way, I'm looking forward to playing episode 1, which hopefully I should be doing very soon. But either way, that will be it for me, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, as always, like it, show your support. Very much always appreciated. If you want to see the next one, episode 1 of The Devil when it drops, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you know when it's actually uploaded. And on top of that, most importantly, if you like the video, comment something down below, something stupid or whatever. I don't care. I just like reading all the comments. It means a lot to me. And with that, I will take my leave. Thank you so much again for watching, ladies and gentlemen, and good night.